Okay, we're live.
Hi.
Hi, we're on. We're on here. It's a
I'm
thing.
very still and very mad, which is why my picture's not moving.
Oh,
Yeah. So, and
let's.
sorry, the delay is largely it's on my end. I'm hesitant to call it my fault, but it's totally on my end because, as you can see, I'm not animate for some reason.
Yeah, that's due to the fact that Google is a baffling ordeal.
It is awful. I hate this. However, I did prepare a little surprise for the first time we're doing it live.
Hmm.
hmm
We're doing it live. Great, Nicole. Our love is like water.
It is
Like
like
water.
water.
Oh, I love that the noise canceling is canceling it out because it recognizes that it is noise.
Take that back.
No,
Yeah,
no backsies.
yeah. Every month you can look forward to hearing a new live song on Duckfeed Live
Until we hit the limit of the 2 albums they put
until we
out.
hit the limit of their singles.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Now we're gonna start it all over again.
Can we verify somehow that people are watching this and can see it?
There is a little thing at the bottom. Ah, we have one viewer now. We have one viewer. Hi, viewer.
Hey, viewer.
Testing 1 2 3. Hit us in the chat if you're there. 2 viewers. They're seeing us.
Okay,
You
good.
guys, you guys take some time. I'm going to put this up on the Patreon feed.
Okay.
So if you guys can fill some air for me.
Oh,
Sure.
geez. You're asking Gary and I to fill air. It's not like we've ever done that or had an entire show that was that.
Brayden, to love a god and to fear the flames.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Something, something, something. I will. I won't.
You know, we don't call them gods. We call them freaks.
Yeah.
Uh,
Where can I find this chat if I wanted to confuse people by participating in both?
Well, if you go over to the left-hand side of the baffling, again, baffling is my adjective for this. You'll see the
Oh, there
little
we are.
line-out tray, which has all of the little apps. I figure I'll be the MC for the questions. There we are. Please let us know you're
hey.
there in the chat. Let us know you're there. Oh,
It's before
Is
we.
the chat just set up for us, or are other people joining the chat? That's what
uh,
I'm just worried about.
yeah. I believe that other people are in the chat. Maybe I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I hate you, Google.
And like what's upsetting about this to me is like it's still like the best option for this kind of thing. It seems to be what everybody uses, but that can't be right, can
If
it?
everyone did a Google hang off the side of a cliff, Google, Google hang
I mean,
off.
Google. It would be Sylvester Stallone running from John Lithgow.
Yeah, yeah. And that other guy who was in that movie.
They call me original search engine. I'm gonna find you. Um,
Oh,
yeah, where are people at? I just want to make sure people are watching before we start saying things.
before we start doing it in earnest.
Yeah.
So
Ernest goes to hang out.
and I'm just going to there we go post. Cool. And we'll hope that it actually embeds. Oh, where the hell am I?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are.
There we go. Okay, cool. Huh.
Good, good. That part works so far.
Works so far. And I think that the way this is probably going to express itself is people can only like hit us in the comments on this thing. Is what I'm seeing. So I just hope that it works here, is what Sean says. So
Okay.
yeah, maybe the group chat is just for us.
Aw.
Yeah, I think that group chat's just for us, and then there's another one if you open the special window, right?
Okay, it looks like yeah, I'm looking at the comments on the thing. Hi everyone. Sound off. I'm going to say.
Yeah.
In the comment.
Oh, yeah, and Brett wants me to talk about Melon Boat, which we'll save for a little later.
That's an old comment.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's not.
Well, all of these. So we enabled I enabled the Q&A on this when I scheduled it before, and a bunch of these are just things from the Patreon. So I captured all of them. Why in the hell is it? So I guess it's just going to keep on highlighting the video. God, so angry. But yeah, so the Q&A, we can pull. This is even funnier with Gary's non-existent video feed.
It's video.
It is a sort of video.
Yeah. It's incredibly slow.
It's on the glacier scale. It's like the pitch drop.
Yeah.
The pitch. Huh. Neat.
Yeah. Look at
that.
Hey. Cool. We have about 6 viewers, which I think is a record for us on the network.
Good. I think for streams, for sure.
Have we ever had any viewers up to this point? Like, this is the first.
We've done Drunk Souls or Souls Bowl.
Okay. Yeah.
I had viewers. Yeah. Do we maybe wait a little bit? We're recording this too, right, Cole?
Yeah. So the second that this goes live, it starts being recorded on like the Duckfeed YouTube. So yeah, is my video just like fading in and out for you guys, or am I?
Yeah, sometimes you're there, sometimes you're a talking duck squiggle.
It probably has to do with when I talk. Like it's probably because when one of you guys talks, it shows me your picture instead of the other person's picture.
That's weird.
So maybe because you just said that Brayden popped up. When Cole talks, Cole pops up. When I talk, it's probably just showing you nothing because I'm a non-existent video ghost.
Okay.
I would like to, if I may, since we're filling air, I would like to talk about the beverage that I'm drinking tonight.
Okay.
Given to me by Patreon donor Evan Jones Thorne.
Oh, hey.
This is Pennington Strawberry Rye Whiskey from Nashville, Tennessee. And I'm starting to really like it. At first, I was horrified by the rye taste coming in first, followed by strawberry taste. But now I really like it that way. It's advertised as strawberry first.
Mm-hmm.
It says, let's see, mouth-watering strawberry giving way to a spicy rye. It's all lies.
Yeah.
But it's delicious.
Delicious lies.
Yeah, those are my favorite kind.
Tell me sweet little lies. What are you drinking, Cole? Let's start. It's time for another episode of Duckfeed. What you drinking?
What you drinking? This is a Sierra Nevada Summerfest. I think that it, for some reason, this is reversing my video. I think to not.
It looks good on me. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So yes, this is Sierra Nevada Summerfest. It is one of my favorite seasonal beers. Normally, I'm not all about the summer, more of a fall and winter kind of guy for seasonals. But this is a very tasty lager, and I am happy to endorse their product.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of their Bigfoot?
Yeah. I haven't tasted a Sierra Nevada that I don't like, actually.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So the Bigfoot gets a little, it gets up under you. It'll sneak up on you real quick. But
it's that barley wine.
Yep.
Woo.
Ooh. And how about you, Gary? Hold yours up to the camera.
I will. I'm drinking. Here, let me change my headphones real quick. I realized that my mic monitor is not working during this as well, so we might be getting a little bit of weird feedback. Everything is broken. Hold on one second.
Yeah, just assume.
Yeah.
He's actually lying. He's just gonna go fing some bugs and jam some cream.
I jammed strips. I didn't need no bugs.
You didn't have any bugs with your strips?
I didn't have any bugs and strips. I just had strips.
Dude, I could eat strip without bugs.
Huh? Somehow I manage. Some call me a hero. I'm drinking coffee.
Okay.
So.
Well, as long as someone's calling you a hero, then.
Yeah. That coffee is my drink of choice right now. So.
Yeah.
Sleepy boy.
Sleepy boy.
I don't want to alarm you guys or to make anybody feel angry about our technical difficulties, but if I had video, I have like a quarter scale medical skeleton I was going to incorporate somehow that I got for Christmas by the name of Skull McCartledge, who is my little skeleton buddy.
Oh.
But yeah, I brought him out and everything. I was like, I'll just have him there, and at some opportune moment, I'll put him up in front of the camera, and it'll be great.
Yeah.
And no dice.
No dice.
Yep. Everybody start using Yahoo.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Netscape we should probably done like a Netscape navigation.
Do like a real player kind of thing, like
Yeah.
real media.
Yeah, we'll just time it out. Like we'll just do it through the postal service. You send me things you're saying. I'll also record a video of me responding, and then eventually we'll just string them together.
And then it'll turn into a Flaming Lips album.
Yeah. Hey, if I'm not on video, I don't have to wear a shirt.
Oh, do it!
And it's hot in here. Yes.
That's like the best news you've had all day. Like a
Yeah.
You don't need a shirt.
Oh man, it's the theater of the mind.
Yeah,
I
theater
like
of the mind, guys.
Brian Murphy, I don't know if you noticed this, Gary. Brian Murphy referred to you as a sexy Woodrow Wilson, which I think is great.
I appreciate that. The picture, which I look like that now, except my beard is longer now. I was going for what's his head? Old Dostoevsky.
Tolstoy or Dostoevsky? Yeah.
Dostoevsky, yeah, but with more hair on my head.
Yeah.
He's a Baldman.
He's a Baldman.
He's the less talented Baldman brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A close fourth behind Steven.
Yes. Yeah.
Stevie Baldwin. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
We have to fix this video thing. I feel like I'm not participating in a major way that's hurting my feelings. It's not you guys' fault. If anybody, it's my fault, but I don't like it.
I'm gonna before it goes up on YouTube, I'm just gonna edit your video out and only put in like video from like Original Rapper by Lou Reed. So
whenever I'm talking, it's just showing Lou Reed like walking down a street with a
playing guitar with like a glitter hat.
Yeah. Well, by using Google plus glitter hats, we could make that actually happen if we suck. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't get video for 1/3 of your call, but you can put a stupid little cat face on.
Yeah.
And also, you can't get consistent video for you.
Yeah.
As you talk. I think it senses when we bitch about it, so then it cuts me out.
Yeah, I know. We're pissing it off.
It's the all-evil Google Eye, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, we all knew Google is becoming evil, so.
Yeah.
Not becoming evil. Eagle.
It's becoming eagle.
It is becoming eagle. Google protocols.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, Google's an asshole.
Do we want to get started?
Yeah,
with,
let's.
some questions?
If people haven't popped in yet who are interested, this will go up eventually.
Yeah.
Is it possible to make it a private YouTube and send it to the people who backed at that level,
Yes.
and then eventually it'll become public?
Yep.
Okay, let's do that. So people who are not on, who just can't do by appointment video stuff, which I am myself among them, and do not blame them, we'll still be able to get it. I don't want to cheat anybody out of anything. And then next month we'll have things working much more smoothly.
Yeah. So, lessons learned. We're still we're still here. We're alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. For now.
Yeah. Well,
If I die, you guys won't even know.
you could wake up dead
That's
tomorrow.
true.
Yeah.
Just not escaping the
Cole and I will just think we're in a very, very interesting, like, meta conversation, and that you just didn't care.
Yeah, or I was just being quiet.
Yeah.
Like, and then just find out weeks later. Yeah. So.
Oh man.
Maybe this tiny skeleton staring at me is reminding me of my mortality.
Gary, Jella is suggesting you close the browser and come back. I don't know if that'll work, but it's an idea.
We did that a bunch. That's what we were doing during that half hour in which we were not recording.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wish that would work, but I'm actually in a different browser. I tried Firefox as well, and it wouldn't work. And I don't think it's the camera because you and I were Skyping around on it. Right?
We were.
Yeah, and it worked just fine. Or eventually worked just fine. So I don't actually know what it is.
Yeah.
But I just don't want to waste any more of these people's time.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, there's Roars for the first time.
Yeah, I purposely didn't feed him so he'd pipe up. to make little cute noises and be on the video, and then eventually I pick him up and show him off on video, which I can't do.
I like that the disaster is really the fourth guest.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Catastrophe.
Cole, were you just eating scissors?
Oh man, why did I put them in my mouth?
Your hands have been on that. Don't...
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, no, I was cutting up some stuff for Patreon rewards earlier, so
okay.
I have scissors.
Speaking of Patreon rewards, Gary and I made a really awesome one for May for the $25 level.
Yep. Yep,
We
yep,
have
yep.
a really awesome one planned for June, and let me tell you this: it involved me getting a typewriter.
Yeah, yeah, it is worthwhile. And July, we're freeballing it, baby. We
That's
don't
right.
know
It's
what to win.
actually just going to be pictures of us not wearing underpants.
Yeah, we're raw dogging it. Welcome to the
But we will
pitch.
be wearing overpants.
It's just a picture. It'll be overpants, and then just in like fine script at the bottom, it'll say, you know.
Yeah,
Raw dog.
yeah, raw. You know, a couple of raw dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unlike the Big Dog's website.
Oh shit! Yeah. Yeah. If you can't surf the net with the big dogs, get off the web.
Get off the web.
Get off my web. I'm gonna start a Big Dogs Internet gang, with that symbol and shirt, and then all the big dogs find company of products could be involved. So. Yep. So welcome. You guys are welcome to join the gang.
Thank you.
Do we want to introduce ourselves here?
Oh,
15 minutes
Yeah,
into
sure.
the call?
15 minutes in, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it. So the usual order, I suppose. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm getting the impression, and I'm not meaning to say it, that you were not expecting us to get off track this early, Cole. And I hope it's not actually troubling you.
I never.
No,
No,
that this is looser than maybe you had planned.
no. I never expected there to be a track. I was just wondering, since this might be the first time people are joining us, that they may appreciate it. Don't worry, I'm not bristling.
Okay, that's yeah. You were chewing on those scissors earlier. I know you weren't just gnawing in anger.
Yeah.
I am Gary Butterfield. I'm the angry still picture in the lower right.
My name's Cole Ross. I'm this dude talking right now.
And I'm Braden Cameron, and I have headphones on.
Yep, joining us from sunny Illinois.
Yeah.
Sunny Illinois. Yeah, we are representing 3 time zones, are we not?
Yeah.
I believe we are.
Ooh.
Yeah. from the fourth dimension.
From the past and from the future.
The one created by the government.
Yeah, I will tell Brayton something that happened in his past, and you can tell him something that will happen in the future.
Don't do it.
I jammed some strips.
Why does that happen in my future?
It's in your past, my son.
Oh, that's right.
All
All right, Cole, your turn.
Trains.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. Trains.
At least it's not train.
Yeah.
At least
Train
it's not
comes
train.
back.
Been a while.
Yeah,
No, that's not. That's stained.
I know it's stained.
I could navigate a mashup. Strain.
Yeah, strained.
Stained. Yeah, which is their reunion, obviously.
What did Train do?
You meet Virginia.
Oh
Uh,
shit.
Drops of Jupiter. So
Was that a
Tampa.
song or just an album?
Hmm.
I don't remember well enough. That's a legitimate question.
No, it was a song because I think that lyric's in there. I drops of Jupiter on your face.
Yeah.
I honestly couldn't tell you which one of those bands is worse. Like that's really tough.
It's stained. It's definitely stained.
Really?
It's gotta be, like Train is like just shitty pop, like shitty
Yeah.
power pop. Stained has what was it? The lyrics. It's been a while since I could stand on my own 2 feet again. Like
Yeah.
that is Kansas levels of getting your tenses messed up.
So that's because I was carrying you.
That's true. Because Stained was carrying you. All the members of Stained.
Well, it was Fred Durst really was carrying you.
He carried Stained.
Yeah, he did.
This is a pilot for Teenage Dirtbags. Like this is what Teenage Dirtbag is going to be. Out there. So when we launch that show in the summer, that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, that's going to be Gary and my kind of abject suffering style review show of music videos from the 90s and 2000s, and today and yesterday, and some other time periods that maybe.
And
I didn't
tomorrow. Yeah, we'll review the first music video done in stop motion Dorero type, like where all the members of Stained had to stay still for a week for every frame.
and it was worth it.
Production.
It's been a while.
I like that they're doing that song. Like they're having a reunion. They're re-recording the video for "It's Been a While."
Yeah, well, that was the first video that was recorded in Tortoise Vision, which is where they sing really slowly and record really slowly and speed it up.
So,
It's a regular tune.
The Chipmunks.
Yeah.
I like that it's tortoise vision, even though it's obviously an audio format.
I was saying the music video.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
tortoises are like the sandworms from Dune. They see by feeling vibrations in the ground.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
And they live
I'm
forever.
surprised you
Fucking
didn't know that.
freaky. Yeah.
No, I honestly do not remember that part. And was that in a later Dune book?
Well, no, there were no turtles. They just had worms.
No, I know that. I mean, the description of the worm senses.
What is it? You walk without rhythm and you want to track the worm, which
Oh,
I
okay,
think
that makes sense.
it was in the
sure.
movie.
Isn't that
I don't know if it
Half-Life
was in
2?
the book. That is Half-Life 2. That line is also immortalized in Fatboy Slim's Weapon of Choice,
Oh.
which
okay.
does not deserve a place on Teenage Dirtbags because that is actually a really good video of Christopher Walken dancing.
It would be like our Teenage Dirtbag Christmas special where we
Oh,
actually talk about something we like for once.
Yeah.
Because we're infused with the holiday spirit.
Yeah.
And it's a Christmas anthem.
It is. It is a sweet Christmas jam.
Yeah. Gotta praise you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do we want to answer questions?
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
I'll just
Cool
kind of
stuff.
start here at the first from Brian Murphy. I can see you guys. Yes, you can kind of, except for right now.
Yeah.
And Gary, and
You
except
can't
for
see
Gary.
me. Unless you can, which I'm not wearing a shirt. Like if just you guys can't, but all the audience can. It'd be weird because I was literally seconds ago slowly fingering the pelvis bone of this tiny skeleton. No joke. And then realized I'm only doing this because I can't be seen.
You know what? I think eventually, as the night went on, you would have started doing that anyway.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So the thing here, I'm beginning to envy you not having the video feed because I'm just finding new things to fiddle with.
Yeah.
For example,
Hey.
tape measure.
Hey!
That's a good fun time, man.
I have too much shit in my desk.
I informed
Horrible
Gary
noises.
earlier that I fiddle with this all the time when
Yeah.
he and I are chatting. So I'm always playing with knives at my desk.
Yeah. Doing that knife game.
That or playing Mumbly Peg and I got this fake Leatherman that I play with.
Oh, is that the Gerber?
It is the
Swing
Gerber,
bridge?
whatever.
Yeah. That's a really nice multi-tool.
Fucking dorks.
It is. Hey, Gary, sometimes you gotta fix shit. Whole bag of tools when you can carry this on your hip like a 65-year-old man.
No, it's great because you can swing it open one-handed to get pliers.
Yeah.
That is great.
I'm expressing an unironic appreciation.
That's
for
fine. You guys can like your Leatherman. It's not a big deal.
Not a leather.
I do like. Well, I like anything. Which Gerber always reminds me of Gerber baby food, and they used to have commercials for the Gerber Life Grow Up Plan, which would air at midnight on Comedy Central during Adult Swim or Cartoon Network during Adult Swim. Sorry. So I always was drunk and assumed that they were just saying Gerber Life Throw Up Plan. Have you
Baby Epicac. Yeah.
You better get ready because you don't want to throw up on your baby. So consult us. We have plans for that.
I'm pretty sure that's a mandatory appearance in court if you throw up on a baby.
It's got to happen. Every time you look at it, you're just going to be hot anyway. I can't believe that came out of a person.
I can't believe that came out of yeah.
And it's not poop. That's just wrong.
It's going to pay taxes someday.
Or if it's the American flag in that Mr. Show sketch where you're programmed not to puke on babies because of the unique combination of features and colors that they have.
Yeah, of eyes and
Who would puke on a baby made of puke? It'd be an empty gesture.
We'll put it on a pole so that no one can get to it. But how would we get it down?
Well, how would we get it down?
I love that Brooklyn Lincoln is so good.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So Jala says, this is even funnier with Gary's non-existent video feed.
Not a question, Jala.
Yep. I'm just going for it.
Thank you for noting.
Yeah, people vote on these and they kind of bubble to the top. So
God damn it, Google. So at no point can you be sure that you've gotten them all, because if one of them's unpopular, you may never see it as the comments royal.
Yeah,
Um,
pretty much.
Well, is this like a Pokemon video cast? Like, do we have to catch them all? Can we save some for later?
I think we can do them all. Everybody gets to ask a different thing next month, and they'll be more informed of the general flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, of the fact that we don't answer questions, we just goof for an hour.
I think that's what they expect. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we can goof while answering the questions.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
For example, this one, which has a lot of a little bit of history behind it that I'm not sure. This is from Brett. He writes, Brayton, can you share some memories from the Melon Boat days? My friends and I listened to those recordings all the time back then, and I have some great memories of playing shows with you guys in some sort of rented garage or something in DeKalb.
Well, it's DeKalb because it's
DeKalb?
Illinois, and that's how we irresponsibly pronounce things. Much
It's
like,
the name after of a man. Like, it's because of Baron DeKalb that it's pronounced.
no, I think it's actually German, or no, it's not German, but it's some like it's Iroquois for like the corn or something.
No, it's Baron DeKalb. It's named after a guy named Baron DeKalb.
Is that true?
Yeah, it's totally true. You're not from there, man.
No, I'm not.
Like, I don't tell you about how all the vibranium comes from, Mr. Wakanda. Like,
I live in Wakanda, by the way.
yeah, Brayton's from Wakanda,
Yeah.
home of the Black Panther,
It's
T'Challa.
true. T'Challa and I go way back. We were in a show choir together. Anyway, okay, yeah. So DeKalb, I think the show that you're talking about, was that actually the Clambassador birthday that Secrets of Stylish Women played at, and then we played at, and I sang that song about your birthday, and then said "fuck you" at the end of it.
That's undoubtedly it, because I don't think
That's.
probably where
I think that's the first time we met too.
No, we'd met before that, I think.
Well, maybe.
Maybe not. But yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. Yeah, and then I think we played a show with It's a Trap at what we called the Gumby House because it was shaped like Gumby's head. But for those of you who don't know, Melon Boat, and you can download our most recent album and our last album, which is also our first album. It's complicated at bandcamp.com/melonboat maybe. Melonboat, just search for Melonboat in Bandcamp. Anyway, so Melonboat was myself and my friend John Ugolini. It was our German minimalist art rock band in DeKalb, and art rock is kind of in quotes because like the rock part didn't happen so much.
No.
It was just mostly yelling and playing like these like super minimal songs with like 3 chords or whatever. But we always yelled the titles, which were very long, in front of each of the songs. So to share for Brett, because I don't think he was there at the show. I'll share like my favorite moment is oh gosh, I'm gonna offend probably everybody, but. So Melon Vote was all about offending people, and we did a show that was, we were claiming ourselves to be the first pro-abortion band, not pro-choice, but we actually suggested that people go out and just get them recreationally. Yeah. So we did this show where we played one song, and then the rest of it we just yelled at the audience. We threw a big pan of meat at the audience. We had it all set up at the end that like I had this doll on a like a remote control truck that was supposed to drive out of this cardboard box that was symbolizing a woman's vagina, and because it's all minimalist again, and we're assholes, so it doesn't work. So I end up having to kick the baby out of the back of the vagina through into the audience, and then we're chasing it around because it was tied to this rope. So we were like pretending like it was getting away. And it all ends, and people are kind of clapping, and this one guy starts heckling us, and he just says like, "Oh, great, yeah, I want to totally show up and watch a show about abortions." And so I'm standing on stage, and John is sitting at the same table as him, talking very sternly and quietly, and I'm just standing staring. And eventually I come down off the stage, and someone puts some of the raw meat that we had on my shoulder. So I just naturally put it in my mouth, and I start walking towards this guy chewing this raw meat, and I just like spit it, and I hit him in the neck with raw
Yes.
meat from my mouth. And he gets up and he's like, yeah, I love getting raw meat spit at me. So I picked up some more and I spit it and I missed. But then he promptly left because everyone was freaking out. But there was like a legit like minute and a half awkward silence between 45 people, like just staring at each other. And, like some of them bolted, like just ran out because they thought there was going to be a rumble. It was fantastic.
I love that that's that one guy, that guy's one move is like, oh, I love this.
Yeah.
like whenever anything bad happens, like, you know, I'm sorry, we're downsizing. Well, I love getting fired. You know? I love waiting for a bus.
What would you call that? Like that's like insincere, earnest sarcasm.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
what an asshole.
that's my band. We played a lot of shows back in the DeKalb days, and we love, like, I really love Secrets of Stylish Women. To this day, I still put some of those songs on mixed CDs I make for people.
Yeah, I like that band an awful lot as well, Brett. And it was really cool when you reached out. It was such a weird, like, oh shit, I know you in real life from like years ago. Actually, there's a guy who works at the pet food shop I go to, who played in bands that played in DeKalb that
Really?
we did shows with. Yeah, it's weird.
What
So
did he
if,
play?
like Oh Nona or Oh Nora.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember the exact name. But yeah, he's a super nice guy, and he's like, yeah, because he looked at my tattoo, and I was just like, oh, you know, you're from DeKalb. I know that place. Did you? And yeah, it was really strange.
Weird.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Brett.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. What do we got next, Cole?
Well, up next we have Evan Jones Thorne, who writes in to ask, what steps go into developing and launching a new podcast? Are there any really promising ideas that just couldn't get past some of those steps?
I like every podcast I've done, other than the one, like the two of them that are successful, 2.5, get to that point, because launching like you can do whatever you want. Like you can just make a podcast; it's not a big deal. But finding an audience is the hard part. And both me and Cole and me and Brayton, worked in kind of toiled in obscurity until we kind of hit upon something that worked.
Yeah.
In that respect, like I don't think there's really a formula for it. I think that you just be consistent and and it didn't help. Video games were a real way in because it's a tech savvy audience and a popular podcast topic anyway. So for every other thing I've tried to do, like, does not really succeed in that sense. Like, I'm really proud of all the stuff I've done, but there's no all that stuff you could say did not get past the ground floor, even though I think they're promising ideas.
Definitely. I think that, like, we have some ideas, and, on the Patreon backer blog, we're doing some, a little, series, or at least one of the topics we can do is, like, dream projects. And, I think that the first step is kind of just having an idea, of like, what this would actually be. And I think that the biggest thing that gets in the way of those is, honestly, time.
Yeah.
That's the biggest investment more than anything, especially since we have the network kind of set up. The opportunity cost of adding something new is actually kind of negligible in terms of, like, technology and in terms of, getting a little bit of cross promotion and runoff. So I think that in terms of, like, actual steps that something needs to go through, it's just a matter of, like, can we kick the tires? Is there actually stuff to say about this? And I think that a big example of the success that we've had of getting something through that was just Bonfireside Chat, where Gary and I were just texting back and forth saying, "Man, Dark Souls, like, we ought to do that," and then it became like a thing. So
yeah, well, the idea part is easy. Like I have infinite ideas for shows that I think are really good. Like I can, there are, like, things that, and most of them I'm planning to do at least in limited runs just to get them out of my head. But, like,
that's what pilot season is, right?
Yeah, that's what part of what pilot season was, and that's part of, like, if you want to, I'm not saying it to self-promote, but the idea of Ahala, the last few episodes of that is me realizing what, taking a hard look at this thing that I thought was very promising and had not kind of pan appeal, and really taking apart why I thought it didn't. Because that's something that, not that you have to be popular to do something worth doing, but the idea part is super. It doesn't fall down at that point. Yeah. It falls down at the execution, or just like whether this is too niche and too weird to. Yeah.
I suppose I didn't define my term too clearly, just because like idea and then just like what do we have to say about this? What's the format? What like what's the structure around that's going to be? Like actually, what is this? A podcast about Dark Souls, and then like okay, well, how do we do that in a way that's kind of like engaging? And I think that the book club format is actually really useful for us, in terms of giving us a little bit of a template for that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
even that part, like I'm not trying to downplay
Mhm.
the craft that went into making this stuff, but that stuff I still feel like comes pretty natural. Like I think that the success of those things is could only really be chalked up to the fact that we just did it really consistently,
Mhm.
and because people like what we have to say.
Yeah.
Like the actual format, like what it will look like, things like that. Like that seemed to fall into place pretty easily to me. I don't know if you agree, but it seemed like that to me. I think that the kind of success part just kind of came, at least mostly through consistency and
Yeah.
So
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah, thank you, Evan.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Let's see here. Next question. This is again from Evan Jones Thorne. How is Gary going to co-host a podcast about terrible music videos if he doesn't know the difference between sane and train?
I'm training right now.
Well, that's the thing is that most terrible music videos from that period of time all contained a singular important element, and that is a bald bass player that didn't wear a shirt that had a huge goatee.
Yeah.
You can check out System of the Down. You can check out what's the other one? You can check out the Queens of the Stone Age album
Up through 2004.
yeah, up to 2004. You could check out what's the word I'm looking for here? Mudvayne, the song.
What's the word I'm looking for?
What's the word?
word is
Mudvayne. It's one word.
Well, that is true. And then the other thing is that I kind of stopped listening to MTV before that. So like my early '90s is more my thing. I can point out some, essentially just live and collective soul.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm bringing.
A guy with a bucket hat would also be a big thing.
Yeah, anything with a bucket hat, I'm down.
So like Primus and that.
Yeah, Primus.
Primus. What? New Radicals.
Eve 6.
Eve 6 is bucket hat worthy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like bucket hat worthy is kind of like sponge worthy in a way, where like it's only good if you can put a bucket hat on it, like some Jimmy's Chicken Shack or something.
Damn girl, you look good. Put a bucket hat on it.
Have you guys ever owned a bucket hat?
No, I have not.
They're nice. They're good for camping and going on various river activities. You pop it in the water and put it on your head. Keeps you cool.
Is that what the idea is with the bucket hat? Do you do that?
Maybe. That's just the way I've always used it.
You can do that with
Ross.
It's a Ross special.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. No bucket hat, but we'll get some if we do the podcast long enough. We'll wear them while podcasting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's see here. Evan Noggle asks, a baffling question: pit beef or corned beef?
I don't know what pit beef is. I apologize for being a dick, but I don't know. I'd like to know. Do you guys
make you a dick?
I mean, not knowing a kind of meat.
It sounds unsavory. It sounds like bush meat. Like it sounds like you're talking about long.
I feel like pit beef sounds like the sort of beef that you would cook in like a giant fire pit, which I'm all for if that's the case.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of corned beef, despite the fact that like I went to my grandmother's house like for years and years and years every St. Patrick's Day and ate corned beef. Like that was just what we did because we're Irish.
Yeah. What pit beef appears to be, it's like a similar kind of cured meat to corned beef, except it is smoked in a barbecue-like fashion.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
that sounds pretty good. I like corned beef. That sounds. I want
to eat pit beef right now. I don't want to eat borf beef,
Borf
which is
beef.
what I almost said. I want borfed beef. I want pit beef. I want it all.
The Thai place, the fancy Thai place in town. One of their good dishes is boar collar, I've eaten their boar collar several times.
Nice.
Some boar.
You have to make sure that you can take the lapels out.
Yeah,
Else you
it's
don't.
the little members only board jacket. When you say pit beef, it reminds me of in Roseanne how she started that restaurant to have loose meat sandwiches.
Yeah, loose meat sandwich is one of the
Yeah.
most unappealing things in my
Yeah,
opinion. Like,
gross.
it's right up there with like the word heap is real gross to me. Like the way that people react to the word moist is the way I react to heap. Heap is just it's just so unappealing.
Yeah.
So like if I said the word heapin' helpin', then
Or like
it's-
or a heap of moist loose beef.
That would be it. A big heap of moist loose meat on your sandwich.
I think you found Brayton's kill phrase.
Yeah, the Putin machine.
So just by virtue of my experience, what is it you eat on New Year's Day to get good luck? Sauerkraut or corned beef? I forget.
They usually come hand in hand.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with corned beef just by experience.
And I will say pit beef just so I can take the thing in the mystery box. Like I've never had it, but it sounds good.
Curtain number 3.
Yeah, I'll take curtain number 3.
Pit beef is sounds great. I don't know, I've never had it, but let's do it. I'll
What
do
if
it tomorrow. Like if
Fuck it.
like if Evan Noggle and I want to hang out and eat pit beef, I'll friggin' fly to wherever you are and eat pit beef.
Is
I
this
got nothing going on.
Reed, is this time for another installment of Pit Beefin' with Gary and Brayton?
They just call me the pit boss.
Well, I'm going to be in Illinois fairly soon. We could do some pit beefing.
We're gonna have to do. Evan Noggle, will you come out to Illinois and eat pit beef with us?
In silence.
Yeah.
Without silverware.
I just the sound of our conversation will just be wet meat noises. I guess we just eat that. Yeah.
Start the pit beef cast.
Yeah. Let's see here. This is a question from some client named Brayton Cameron asking, I would like to hear Gary tell the story of Dr. Bong. So some MMORPG stories, horror or otherwise, could be fun. Also, Melon Boat, which you already addressed. So who's Dr. Bong, Gary?
Dr. Bong. So this, I'm sure I've told the story on the air before, but I'll tell it again. I think MMOs are bad games. Almost uniformly. Like I think that there cannot be, like I feel like the good game is almost incompatible with that design philosophy. And I gave one a try though, and it was City of Heroes because I like superheroes, and it was free, and no, it wasn't free. I spent like $20 and then got my free 15 days or what have you. And character creation was super fun. I was playing it, and it was like mostly going by myself. Relatively, fine, and just soloing it, going through, fighting endless enemies, killing 10 whatevers, and it was fine. And then I got to the second zone where it was really hard. You had to team up with people to get past it. And I put up a looking for group, and I got adopted into this group. And there was this slow dawning moment of horror as I looked. And my game, I was like the golem, and I had cool earth powers. And on my team was Dr. Bong and the Fart Shaman. And we just started running towards the mission or whatever, and we were over these like lava pits that were filled with fire lizards, and I fell into one of the fire pits, and everyone called me a fag, and then I uninstalled and didn't turn back. Yeah, that was a very foolish thing you did, and I was like, okay, that's what MMOs are like. I'm okay. I'm all right.
You fall into a fire pit and somebody calls you a fag?
Yep, that's exactly what happens. Yeah.
That's a back-of-the-box feature.
Yeah, and someone's like, that was very foolish. I'm like, I didn't fucking do it on purpose, Bong Doctor. For once in your life, where'd you get this degree?
Yeah, I really liked City of Heroes, but the thing I liked most about it was character creation, which was really fantastic. And I remember playing. I made a dozen characters or whatever, and the only one that ever got any pickups for a group was my character Samurai Medic, who was just a medic. I just made the guy with like the closest I could to samurai, like traditional samurai armor, and then put a big like red cross on his chest, like he was in the Red Cross. And I made him a healer, and then like every 10 seconds I got group invites. And then I ended up playing City of Villains for a while, but I made a class that could solo, just because I didn't want to play with anybody.
Yeah.
So the Mastermind, I think it was, where you could actually like summon robots, which was great because I would be inside of like a warehouse or a cave, and then these like these robots would drop from the sky, which was impossible.
Yeah, I liked City of Heroes. I never got involved in any kind of like social play with that. It was mostly just me running around and jumping. The jump travel ability was just really fun.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about Crackdown here pretty soon.
Oh yeah,
probably going to gush
Crackdown.
more about that. Yeah, but just like jumping, But most of my stories are from EverQuest, and they're actually kind of boring just because. Just because it was a very supportive guild that I had on a role-playing server, So.
And like I can see a perfect world in which like an MMO might work, like in a D&D kind of way, like an RP server with like D&D rules. Like I could almost play D&D online with like a group of like-minded weirdos. But like a traditional like the dipping trying I ended up trying out WoW sometime like fairly recently, did like a trial of it just because something I wanted. I had some idea of writing something about it and didn't end up doing it. But like, I just like they're well-produced bad Diablo games. Like really high production values. But we're playing X-Men Legends for Watch Out for Fireballs right now, and like I would just rather do that in a single-player game. If I'm just gonna smash stuff and collect loot and fight hordes of bad guys, like I just don't want other people around to do it to tell me like what is the right way to play and what's the wrong way.
Or if you do, they're in your living room with you, and it's
totally
fun.
And that's super fun. We played Ultimate Alliance, and that was tons of fun.
Yeah, we played that whole game, didn't we?
Yeah,
Leonardo yelling for Asgard.
Yeah, Cam Clark just fucking. And I remember because we had like that standing like weekly, like you'd come over and play Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good times. Cole, I feel like you would remember this, but maybe you were too young. Did you ever play The Realm?
Oh, why do I remember that?
Because it was like the first MMO.
That was like was it graphical or was that
Yeah, it was graphical and it was real cheesy, but it was a fantasy MMO, and I remember very little because I was like 15, 16 when I was playing it, but it was like the first time I had ever played an MMO, number one, and then this first time I was ever involved with like sex chat on the internet. So like, I was playing MMO. I was playing The Realm at my friend's house because I didn't have internet at the time. Because this is back when having the internet was a thing.
Yeah.
And so I was playing that, and then it was just like I was playing, and the next thing I know, I'm like getting this chat message that's like, jumped on your chest and shoved my boobs in your face. And I'm like, what? When did this happen? Like, I just want to kill rats with you.
Yeah. I think I think maybe I had a little bit of experience with that before I found EverQuest, but that might have been like a free-to-play, or like there was just a way that you could play it as a stupid little kid without a credit card. Similar was Tibia. Played a lot of that, and that was kind of like the free, like top-down, like super. It's actually reminiscent of the Horse Isle game. Actually, is the closest representation I could think of for it today. But yeah, I remember The Realm. Also, Active Worlds. I remember doing that. It was kind of like a very early version of Second Life.
Okay.
It was really just a chat room that you had 3D avatars that you could like fly around with. I think you could buy like real estate to make houses and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound so bad. That seems kind of nice.
Yeah, I just think I'm trying. I keep going back and trying to like dredge up like Oprah memories of all the like maybe horrible shit that I saw that I just couldn't process when I was that young.
Yeah.
So like maybe somebody was trying to do that. Nobody was jumping on my chest and shaking their boobs.
Yeah,
at least that I explicitly remember.
Yeah, it's all typed out. So like, so my response is like a 16-year-old super shy individual who's never had any sexual experience at this time, like, just fled, like just went to like different screens to hope to avoid this person.
Huh.
Yeah. Other than that, I used to play Guild Wars, and I would always play as a girl character because that's just kind of my thinking in video games, where it gives you a choice is like, if I can be the monster or the alien, I want to do that. Because I'm a white male every day, why don't I want to ever play as something else?
Yeah.
So I did that, and then it was a lot of like getting ASL questions like all the time. Always dudes trying to flirt with me.
Yeah, trying to jump all up ons. Yeah.
Trying to put their boobs in my face.
A bunch of dudes. Oh, just going for it.
Yeah, on the internet,
Yeah.
just like us.
So Johnny Rocco asks, so Cole, any comments about the recent use of the Mountain Goats track Up the Wolves in an episode of the Walking Dead TV series? Do any other bizarre cultural crossover collisions come to mind? He's referring to, actually, that was a really good episode this season. It was Daryl focused, and I was really kind of shocked that came on. Because I don't think about anybody else liking that band, although it's really popular. So that's a really.
I love that band.
It's great, yeah, no, but it's like
of you.
what's that? I know, right?
Yeah,
I understand. Like, I
yeah.
totally understand that's like kind of crazy, but like that is not something you see on television. So like, oh yeah, the Sunset Tree, that's amazing, great. It was a good use of it. I thought it was pretty cool. The only other thing I can compare it to, and I really don't have any other thoughts than aside from like, oh, there are people who like these bands at these shows. There was an episode of Rescue Me that used an Eels song that used Fresh Blood.
Sure.
Yeah. At the end of it, so you get that little like twinge of recognition.
Yeah, there's like one episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer that had a Rilo Kiley song in it, and I almost shit my pants.
Yeah.
Oh God!
No,
What's going on?
I mean, admittedly, I'm in love with Jenny Lewis and always will be. Like,
Yeah.
But no, it was just like, this is a thing that I love on a thing that I love.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean that really is what it is. It gets you going. Like more relevant to like video games. Like Alan Wake had some of the best use of licensed music in games that I've seen like ever. I guess kind of in the chapter end kind of thing. So specifically having Poe's Haunted be one of the outro tracks on one of those chapters.
Well, you just like that because Poe is the brother of Michael Danielewski, who wrote House of Leaves, and then she wrote that album that was about House of Leaves. You just, I know.
I would not have been able to make fun of Cole for that. I didn't know that.
Oh, okay. Well, now you
You're gonna back me up.
So you're just tag teaming me. Like,
No,
it was
no,
totally
because-
appropriate for Alan Wake, It's,
Yeah, no, it is. But I actually didn't know that. I was a fan of Poe like ahead of time and listened to that album because I used to do like a little radio show on like my community college that I was in, and like that album came in as like one of the things we should play whenever that came in. Not to age myself too much, but yeah. So I was familiar with the album, and then it was like I read that book and liked it, and then like someone told me that they were related, and I was like, oh, that's weird.
Mm-hmm. That's a good album.
Yeah.
Gary?
And a good book.
Yeah.
Hard things. It's hard to come to mind. Like I like the musical breaks in Alan Wake as well, like a Roy Orbison song.
Yeah.
That's super good. I ended up enjoying that. It's hard for me to think of like a band that I really like showing up in a thing though. While simultaneously liking, lots of bands and stuff. It's not like, I like the Mountain Goats too. I just don't like the Walking Dead TV show. Like I just haven't seen it. I'm not saying that to be hip. It just is true that I didn't catch that because I don't even watch two TVs. I'm that cool. So, it is weird. I will have the experience more like if I'm in a restaurant and they'll be playing something really weird. Like, oh, why are they, playing the Chills in this Applebee's? Like that's really strange.
Yeah,
like, that will happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I was at a Taco Bell and they started playing The National, and I started thinking maybe I shouldn't like this band anymore. But of course I have to because they're amazing.
And because you love Taco Bell.
And I do love taco. I have, for those of you who don't know at home, I'm full of tattoos, and so here is, that's a hot dog there, and then if you can get that, that's a taco.
Yeah.
Right there. It's actually a taco night. It's upside down. I don't want to move my webcam.
Oh wow! I was at a truck stop. It was like 2 a.m. On like an Ohio, like a rural Ohio highway, and they were playing like a C-side off of a really off of a Wilco album. I was like, you should be playing Ted Nugent. What's happening?
Yeah, that's always great. Like when you realize that there are people with good taste in music in the world.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not just us.
Yeah, it's not just the three of us and people watching, of course.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. So listen to the Sunset Tree every day.
I like that album, but I like the earlier, dirtier stuff a little bit more.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I'm a real All Hail West Texas kind of guy.
for sure.
But I like the Sunset Tree as well.
Yeah, that was I don't know what it was. Like a friend of mine gave me that CD, Sunset Tree, and also gave me "We Shall All Be Healed." Is that the name of it, right?
Yeah, the concept album about heroin addicts.
Right. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
So they gave me that at the same time, and like sometimes you get a CD from a friend and you don't really listen to it, and then I ended up watching the video for this year.
Yeah.
And fell in love with it, and actually had that like written on the mirror of my like apartment in college because I'm a freaking psycho and wanted to scare every girl that came in. But on a similar note to that and tattoos, I don't think I told Gary, but I told Evan, who's a friend of mine, that I'm a big Hold Steady fan, and like recently started to listen to Separation Sunday a lot. And from Separation Sunday is the song "Little Hood Rat Friend," and there's this line, "I ain't gonna do anything sexual to you," and I wanted to get that tattooed across my collarbone, just so that like if I ever take my shirt off in front of someone in a sexual connotation, they automatically assume I'm a serial killer.
It puts them off guard. That's
Yeah,
big.
but then I decided that it wasn't worth it. My other tattoo idea that I'll never get. Sorry to go too far off topic.
That's
But I wanted to get a Rosie the Riveter tattoo, but instead of saying "we could do it" or whatever, it says "why bother?" and she's holding a dildo.
Were we talking about like the German like what were we talking about in Google Chat when we were talking about that? Like something about like I will not go to work today to masturbate, and like we translated it in Latin, and it was like
That's right, and it sounds really nice.
yeah, it was like to beat off, no work for I, or something like that. It's like a really great direct translation.
I love whenever we Google translate something, like when we Google translated that thing for your show, what like better more than the dad in Beethoven.
Yeah, yeah, the dad from Beethoven, translated as more than the dad from Beethoven, or something like that.
Beethoven, yeah, for the rest of the family of I don't know, whatever that guy's name is.
Yeah, Dr. Brace Groden. Yeah, Dr.
Brace
Brace Groden. Yeah, yeah, noted hobo.
Well, Dr. Chase Groden. There were two doctors named Groden that I played on two of your shows.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that's the first episode of Pilot Wing. I think which Cole is on. I think that's osteoneurosis.
Did you just call it Pilot Wing?
I think
I wish that was a podcast. Make a Pilot Wings podcast.
Just like the beeping noise of getting through successive rings.
And then, or just like inside the head of the guy with the jetpack strapped to his back that always died. Like a 15-second skit at the end of every episode. That guy.
I'm just baffled that John Hughes wrote the Beethoven movies.
What?
Yeah.
Is that true?
That is absolutely the truth.
It's not that baffling. Like he started sucking,
Pretty quick.
1989, and then continued to suck for the rest of his life. Yeah. Like he just made a lot of schlocky shit. He had really good movies in the 80s, and then really garbage stuff for the rest of his life until he dies.
Wilbur Taylor's great.
Yeah.
I've never seen it, so I can't comment. But if you say it's great, I believe you, Cole. You have good taste.
Well, wait a minute.
And are never, ever sarcastic.
Oh, let's see here. Speaking of goofy movies, Murph, our friend, he's going to be on the next episode of Bonfireside Chat, actually, coming out here in a couple days. He says, or asks, rather, riff tracks. I've never listened to one, but I like the concept. Discuss. For clarity, discuss riff tracks, and if you like them, not the fact that I've never listened to one. Murph. P.S.
So he wants us to talk about how he's never listened to one?
Yeah. I think for clarity, I think that's what he wants.
Okay.
So why are you telling us this? That's weird, Murph.
Well, I assume that because that was the basic idea of Teenage Dirtbag, right? Like we were going to originally do a riff tracks over a video from the 90s.
Yes. But then could not do it. Because it would be a pain in the ass. Like there are ways to do it, but nobody would ever check it out. Yeah. Do you guys riff track? Do you guys know riff tracks?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never done one. So to solve Murph's problem of never having watched one, it's a pretty easy problem to solve. I've not done it like it's specifically like the official ones. I love Mystery Science Theater. I mean, that's a controversial opinion, I know, but that's the closest I've ever gotten to like digging on one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's if there was like a free trial one, I probably would give it a try. But there's no option to just get one for free and just try it.
Oh, there is something that kind of is in the same vein that I really like. Wizard People, dear reader. That is Brad Neely, the China, Illinois guy. That's what he did before that was kind of on Adult Swim. It is kind of a book that he wrote over top of the Harry Potter movie. So you can see it on YouTube, and so like the audio of the movie is muted, except he is kind of like reading narration over top of it, and it's really really funny because he has this crazy strained voice that he does it in, and I've heard that he does like live performances of it. That's pretty choice watching. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw. I've never watched one of the home riff tracks, but I went and watched them do Plan 9 for Outer Space live.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was fun. Like it was really dad humory. Like I was surprised by how dorky it was, but it was still pretty fun to see, and see those guys. I like Mystery Science Theater 3002, but I'm a real Joel guy, and Mike is the guy who's doing the riff tracks, and I don't quite like him quite as much. Like he's very funny, but he doesn't like. I think it's just that he's just like earnest, happy, funny, whereas Joel is a little bit drier and. That was more appealing to me when I first kind of ran into it.
Is it? Was Joel doing the Cinema Titanica?
I think you're right. I think he is. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if he still is, but he was for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, and generally in favor without having very much experience, I think is our consensus.
Yeah, and Cinema Titanica is the exact same thing, different name.
Yep. Yeah. They both own the idea.
Cool. Let's see here. Evan Jones Thorne asks, how many jackets does everybody own? Do you actually use all of them? Shouldn't you maybe consider doing something with all of your extra jackets, like donating them to people who don't have jackets?
Oh, okay.
I'm selling these fine leather jackets.
Oh.
I said that on our Patreon page too in response to this.
The finest recycled jokes.
Yeah. I have two jackets, one heavy and one light, and I wear one when it's cold and one when it's not.
Yeah, we're in the same boat. I have a spring, fall jacket and a winter jacket, and that's it.
Yeah. I have a heavy wool jacket, and I have a red hoodie zip-up thing and a blue hoodie zip-up thing.
Wait, are we counting hoodies? Because then I'm fucked.
I don't think we are, man. I'm not trying to decide. I think the hoodies don't count as a jacket.
I use them as a jacket, so that is my exterior wear. Well,
if that counts, then every sweater vest I own also counts.
Yeah. So if that's the case, I have one jacket, which makes me a better human than everybody.
I think it does, because you're not giving your excess ones.
Yeah.
Or you don't have excess ones to give away, whereas me and Brayton could technically do without one of our jackets.
Yeah, I mean, I could pull a Ryan Green and get rid of my heavy coat and just wear 55 layers and come into work.
And take 45 minutes to get ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if anybody should get rid of a jacket, it should be me, and it should be my heavy coat, because Portland is only cold enough to necessitate it like 2 weeks. So I like it during those 2 weeks, but
how cold does it get in Portland during winter? Really, I ask because I'm moving there.
Which I'm excited about, and the people will reap the benefits of that in some way, I'm sure. I'm bad with figures and measurements and stuff. That's not how I think. I think I have a learning disability of some kind. But not too bad.
Okay. So, in comparison to, say, a Chicago winter, it
is nothing like that. But your body adjusts. Like if I go outside and it's like, 25 degrees or 30 degrees, I feel like it's fucking freezing. Whereas in Illinois,
it's cold.
Like negative 25 degrees, and there's weather advisories not to go outside without dying.
All right.
So it's not like that. There's a story I've told it before, but when I came here on my honeymoon, it was probably like 40 degrees and raining, and it was in March, and I was in a restaurant, and this couple came in, and he was shivering, and he took off like multiple layers. He's like, it's like fucking January out there, and it was like literally 40 degrees and raining.
Yeah, no, I'm right with you. When I went to London in November, we were waiting for Spamalot to begin, and we were just hanging out in like kind of a drinking bar area with a bunch of people. And this one woman came in and was talking about how she just came from India, and it's 45 degrees outside, and she's like, "Oh, it's proper winter." And I was like, "Fuck you! No, it is not proper winter. Wait, wait."
Yeah. Wait. Yeah.
I think this is just a shared spiritual malady we all have, having come from the Midwest, which has terrible winters. So everything else is going to be we're like spicy food guy. This isn't spicy.
Yeah.
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 You know.
Yeah. Midwest.
No.
Evan understands that.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said Evan understands that. He is also from Midwest.
True that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And probably Brett as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see here. Brandon Douglas asks, video game films are almost always terrible. Is there any hope of something decent coming out of this genre of movie, or should games just be left at home? What intellectual property do you think would have the least chance of failure in the right hands?
Hey, Brandon.
Hey,
Brandon. Hi.
Yeah. Brandon's a good guy.
Yeah.
If I may,
You may do.
most video game movies are in fact terrible, but like you're starting a video game movie like a Doom or like I don't know, Alone in the Dark, with kind of a game that doesn't have necessarily a lot of story. I think Mass Effect could probably translate pretty well if you took a Mass Effect or a Mass Effect 2 even for that matter. Because it is a really story-rich thing. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, like, all the games that would work, like Mass Effect, or, you know, they're talking about doing a Last of Us movie, they're already close enough that it would kind of be like, you know, kissing your sister. It wouldn't really count just because...
I think my sister's cute.
I think my sister's cute.
It
My mom said no, but oops, I did it anyway.
Yeah.
So horrifying analogies aside, yeah, I mean, just you know, what was it? They were talking about doing an Asteroids movie a little while back.
What,
Like,
seriously?
Yeah. That was on the plate there for a while, and we spent a little time during the Shadow of the Colossus episode of Watch Out for Fireballs talking about how ridiculous it would be to have that movie ever made. Yeah, so I agree with you, Braden, but I almost wonder if taking Mass Effect into film would, you know, A, be like too short of a jump, and B, like taking away kind of the choice from, you know, taking the choice out of that. Well, you know, what little apparent choice you have would diminish like kind of what was special about it.
Yeah, I feel like Mass Effect 1 had maybe the least choice. Like, you were basically going to do the main story no matter what, whether you were good or bad. So maybe that one would be okay, but like by the time you get to Mass Effect 3, there's so many different choices that you've made over 2 games that, like, it's,
I think sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I think that Mass Effect 2 would make a wonderful like mini-series. And that also gets to the other thing. Like, you know, you take a 10, 12-hour game and try and get it down to 2 hours, and like you're losing, you know, kind of a bunch of stuff in that. What you're losing, obviously, is the gameplay. But oftentimes it ends up being like, we have to hit all these beats like as quickly as possible. And that's where, like, the, you know, for the Silent Hill movie, for as visually impressive as that was, that kind of fell down because it was like, here's the hospital level, here's the school level, here's the, et cetera, down the line.
Well, yeah, but if we made a Mass Effect movie, it just wouldn't have the Mako tank in it. And then that would be the whole thing. That would be fine.
Yeah, but to do like a Mass Effect, I mean, Mass Effect 2 is essentially structured like a mini-series anyway. So you would have, oh, here's Miranda's, you know, kind of thing. It's, you know, it would turn into kind of like Firefly almost. But yeah, you know, it's just a matter of like, oh, which story will bear it out, and then which form will that story kind of be best suited in. You know, I like games because they're games.
Yeah, I think Cole's 100% right, and like a way, like I think you're both right. Like I think if you're going to make that jump, you need something that is really far on the narrative spectrum anyway. But why take away like the one thing that makes Mass Effect a game? You know, like I'm way into my games being games, and I don't like, you know, and I've said it 1,000 times, like I don't like it when my games are trying to be movies. Like I like a game experience that is
like
into the medium.
Gears or something like that.
Yeah, like that. I hate that game. Like I tried to play that and I got so mad and I stopped.
Which game? Sorry.
Xenogears?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like I think that's an awful game, and like there's nothing to it. Like it's not that good of a story, and it's not fun to play. And like, take advantage of the medium. The same way when you talk about the miniseries thing, like, it would have to be a miniseries, but then really, like, what are you adding? Not just doing, the plot of Mass Effect, as I understand it, or any game, like it's sounding like I'm bashing on Mass Effect, which I'm trying not to do. Like, taking a game I really like even taking something like Alpha Protocol. I love Alpha Protocol. Taking that plot and just doing an Alpha Protocol miniseries, the plot is not so unique that you couldn't just do a spy series and get good writers and just have it be fine without having it be like, just come up with a new IP. If the video game movies are real cynical brand recognition cash grab kind of things, if they're going to be any good, like, they might not be okay, but they're very rare is it going to be important that they are based on the movie or based on the game rather.
Kind of an angle that I hadn't considered before we started talking about this. Like, straight up adaptations are almost always destined to fail. But like, if you took a game world or a game series that kind of has a rich fiction, backing it up, or a world, something like that. So like, and hear me out on this. Like, say like an Assassin's Creed movie that didn't stick to one of the games, but was like, okay, let's take these kind of component parts, or Mass Effect, like, let's tell a story that happened like way over here that's off to the side, that's kind of smaller and more intimate. So like, that I think would be the only way that it was most successful, where they weren't trying to be like, oh, here's Ezio, or here's Commander Shepard, but like, this is something that's taking place. And that's something that like Star Wars games have done pretty well. The most successful Star Wars games have nothing to do with the movies, by and large. So that would be a good way to go around it.
I've only got 10 hours of Mass Effect in, but like, from what I understood of the reading the fiction, is it wasn't that, like, that world is not that unique. Like, it is very detailed, but it trafficked in a lot of space opera tropes. Like, it doesn't need what you're describing doesn't have to be a Mass Effect.
Oh, true.
Like, it's not really my point is more like, it's not really benefiting from using the name recognition, other than like marketers will get big money boners.
Oh, for sure.
Benefiting,
but like, that's like a step closer to like what would possibly be successful about it.
Yeah.
Like, at that point, if the brand becomes becomes irrelevant, like, okay, we can use this and establish some kind of shorthand that people can enter it with.
Right, and then the best it could be is like a good movie on its own that doesn't really need or use the license. Which, like, good movies are good movies. Which is fine. But I wish that, I don't feel like that works real well. And games are very different. Like, the gulf between a game and a movie is a wider gulf than the gulf between a book and a movie.
It's weird. It's weird that that's the case, but.
It's not. It's like there's a whole other way of interacting with it. Like, it's an interactive thing. Like, engages an entirely different set of your brain and senses and stuff. Like, they're very kind of far apart as mediums.
Despite the fact that they're both audio-visual mediums.
But they're just like
tactile about it.
Yeah, it really rolls apart.
On a similar note, if you have the Dark Horse app with Dark Horse Comics, there is a Mass Effect free comic that covers the Helmar.
The Hanar, yeah.
Yeah, the Hanar. Sorry, the Hanar Spectre named Blasto, I think is his name, who is just every single spy cliche ever, and it's amazing. So I recommend that. It's also, I think it was a free comic book day thing, so it's a free comic, so check it out.
Ooh. Yeah, that's kind of funny how they have fiction inside the world that is as ridiculous. Also, what is it? The all Elcor rendition of Hamlet?
Of Hamlet,
where they say what their emotion is: distraught, to be or not to be.
Right, because then you can really get with the actor.
Yeah, just lay it all out on the table, right? Yeah.
I wish, what? Like, if I was more involved in theater, I would want to do a fake all Elcor, where it would just be straight reading of something famous, Hamlet or whatever, and just state the emotion before I say the line. I would love to see that. I really would.
There's a related question around this that we should probably ask since it's concurrent here. So Alan asks, if an as-of-yet untapped film or TV property was to be made into a video game, what one would you like to see and why? Also, what genre of game would it suit? Yeah.
It's interesting. I don't feel like it's necessary, like it's as big a gulf to do that. Like adding interactivity to something is more plausible and less disastrous than taking it away. you know?
Yeah.
Because you look at something like The Walking Dead, which does what Cole was just talking about, where it takes a setting and just sets something different in there, and those games are phenomenal and super successful just by adding gaminess to them. So,
Yeah.
but the thing I learned is it doesn't have to do with, like, it's not that that is because The Walking Dead is good. It's because of the creators involved. So I almost feel like anything could be if, Telltale or another appropriately like trustworthy company gets their hands on it.
Well, it's funny because Telltale's almost easy mode for this because they've built this entire engine and this entire methodology around interactive storytelling. And we're seeing that this summer we're going to have Game of Thrones and then Tales from the Borderlands and stuff like that, which wouldn't be my first choices, but those are popular kind of things that are mapping to it. And then really all you have to do is get a good writer attached.
Yeah.
So.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Oh, that's okay. We'll edit this out. That's not true.
Will we? Can we do that right now?
Nope.
No. Come on.
We're doing it live. I'm probably not going to play the Borderlands one, but I'm not that into Game of Thrones, but I'll play the Telltale Game of Thrones if it's well regarded, just because I trust Telltale. And I feel like that is definitely a true thing. Like, adding interactivity to something is good, taking it away is bad when it comes to games.
Yeah,
and it's a good entry point into different stuff like that. So I never the Walking Dead game was my first exposure to anything like that. Like I had never read any of the comic books or watched the show, but now I've read all of the books and watched all of the show. So that I almost want to say like the best thing that I could see being brought into the video game genre is something that I otherwise wouldn't be exposed to. Like Game of Thrones actually probably would be pretty good because I've not read any of those books or seen the show at all. So that might be my entry point into that, in all honesty.
It's real good.
Yeah.
Just saying, do whatever you want with it, but it's real good.
My stock answer for this is Dark Tower. I think that'd be pretty good. It's kind of got the epic fantasy and the shooting kind of built right into it because obviously every game needs to have shooting.
Apart from having any sort of agency, that's the only problem with the Dark Tower.
a little bit, but you could play with that, right? You could play with Ka being a wheel and such, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly been games where you, I guess maybe to a certain extent. Even Shadow of the Colossus, where you really think you're doing something, but you end up doing something else, or nothing.
Or it could be a different, like a different iteration on the cycle too. So that's where they can bring in, like, just essentially the rules of that universe are so fast and loose they could pretty much do whatever they want with it, in service of making it work for a game. So I think that would be just something that would speak to my own particular flavor of nerdery.
So in like about 6/7 the way through, David Cage shows up and just explains what's happening.
He does exactly. That's exactly what happens. And then you need to save him from evil, the evil that is a van.
I wouldn't save David Cage from anything. Like, no joke.
I have to save David Cage from that crash dummy that he's using in the Indigo Prophecy. It's strangling him. Yeah. No. How about you, Gary? Did you answer that?
I don't. I think anything really. Like, if there are universes I like a whole lot, obviously, that I would love to see pretty much get the Telltale treatment. Like, I keep bringing them up, but like, there's a dumb series of fantasy books I've brought up before called the Belgariad, which is a really efficient page turner, kind of YA fantasy, and that would be an amazing, Telltale style choicey game, or even like an RPG. Like, that world is really good, and there's a lot of action and kind of different factions and stuff. I think that'd be a really good, even like a Dragon Age style world, lots of codex and stuff. Kodai would work pretty well. So I'd love to see that. And then what is a Magician Apprentice, that Raymond Feist book? The games based on those are actually pretty good. Like early 90s RPGs, CBRPGs, those are good. So. Yeah. To
give kind of a bonus answer, I'd love to see kind of a non-combat oriented X-Men game.
Yeah.
Actually, just because every game has been something approaching a beat 'em up, even like the Wolverine ones. And the most interesting parts of the X-Men to me are not the like Wolverine is not interesting because he's a claw guy. He's interesting because he's a forever man.
I've said it before, and if you want to see what that is, like, play The Wolf Among Us and pretend you're playing as Wolverine.
Okay, cool.
That is a non. If I couldn't sell it to you by calling it Telltale Noir, it is a non-combat based or non-action Wolverine solo game.
Okay.
Like if he's a detective, like and Bigsby is pretty much Wolverine.
Okay.
It's so good. The Wolf Among Us is so good.
Yeah, I own it. I've got it. All the chapters are downloaded. I just need to set aside a good uninterrupted chunk of time to play it, which is the forever excuse.
I
Do
would
you
love
want me to just take over one of your podcasts for a little while so you can play
it? Take over those damn Ross kids.
Done.
Yeah.
Done. At the drop of a hat.
So, how are you? What do you do for a
Chris.
living? Like, you got any brothers and sisters?
Do you want some?
Yeah, where'd you go to school? I love because like we're playing X-Men now for the show, and I like that game, but it is dumb beat 'em up. Man, fucking X-Men Destiny is so frustrating because I could handle an action game, but I love the idea of you creating your own X-Men and doing that ground eye view experience. Like that, that's super failure. That would have been great. Like even if it would have been combat focused, you would have been able to, see what is it like to be this mutant and go through this puberty metaphor, and get indoctrinated in this world. That would have been fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And that game is so shitty. I have a distinct memory of playing that at PAX and walking away like partway through the demo, and the person who worked for the company trying to get me to come back, and it was just the saddest thing.
Gil, leave this one.
Yeah, I know Gil. Gil's gonna get give out a certain number of buttons.
The gray ghost.
Yeah, it's sad.
Let's see here. This is a new one. So, Carlo Martinez writes in asking, is there an area of the world or a particular job you'd like to explore in a video game? For instance, I grew up in a relatively bad area of East Los Angeles, and I haven't seen a game that explores this type of situation, like an open world game.
Good question.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
It
sounds like you have an answer because you're enthusiastic.
No, I don't have an answer, which is why I'm enthusiastic. Like it surprised me. Like that is a really good question.
I'll throw in one. And again,
Cincinnati. Is that what you're going to say?
Cincinnati? Yeah.
Cincinnati.
I'll just say where we live.
Cincinnati.
No, okay, they just need to take make a video game adaptation of the movie Blow.
Yeah.
Just driving around the streets of Indian Hill. That's up there for my old Cincinnati peeps. What? So I'll answer this one just because I have Assassin's Creed on the mind. I'm heartbroken that there hasn't been an Assassin's Creed like set in like the Bolshevik like St. Petersburg. Like just like 1920s Russia would actually be really cool to like run around and take a look at.
Well, it's possible. I mean, we're getting closer to that with each progressive game, right?
True. Yeah. So that I think would be my answer, just because it's so unignored. Like if you go to Russia at all in a game, it's really just war-torn World War II Russia, which isn't that interesting. But like just different kinds of architecture. Honestly, I was really happy to run around what is that Istanbul in Assassin's Creed. Oh gosh, Revelations. Like just give me an interesting city to run around in, like a weird like social structure. Like
okay.
That's where those really succeed for me. Okay.
Oh. Okay.
You guys keep going. I'll be right back.
Keep going. Okay, you okay? You can't hear us.
No.
I'm gonna say I want the give me like the mix. Take the best strengths of Alpha Protocol's like dialogue engine and LA Noire, and give me a hostage negotiation game. Like how cool would that be? Like it's all about reading faces and reading desires, and then like studying people before you meet them, like reading dossiers and just like what will this person react to, without like I loved LA Noire, but I didn't love I loved 80% of LA Noire, and without having the like when someone's lying they do the real shifty eyes, like make it subtle, yeah, exactly, like they were new glasses, yeah, like make it real subtle and real good, and have people have different tells, bring them from different cultures, like learn, like this guy is from this area, you have to learn what that culture values. And what that, like that's the job, I'll say.
Yeah, the job is pretty. I hadn't considered the job. Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, just like a series, boiling down Alpha Protocol into its component interesting parts, which would be the dialogue boss and boss fights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be kind of the purest distillation of that.
And add more to the research and kind of casing the encounter part of it. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah. This is one reason I'm kind of excited about Firewatch, actually. There are a lot of reasons I'm excited about Firewatch. But the idea of being this park ranger, in kind of like this period piece kind of place. That seems like an interesting, occupational excuse to walk around an interesting environment, to
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
I am interested in it. Like I'm not as into some of the people doing that as I think that a lot of people are, but I'm interested in it. Like I want to see what comes of it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Mhm.
So.
Do we want to wait for Brayton or?
Yeah.
Well, as we're waiting for him to come back, do we want to announce the poll?
Yeah, let's do that. And actually, I wanted to let me text you a secret.
Okay.
Because I had something I wanted to ask you about that. And I didn't know that I didn't think of doing it here. So.
My phone is actually dead. So.
No. Can I?
You
Wait, the chat isn't just us. I'll email it to you.
Yeah.
All right, hold on 1 second. This is dumb.
Brayden, what is going on? I just came back during like the dumb part. What happened?
Answer this question while I do a thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So like a video game where I would like to explore. That's really difficult because I don't like most things. So I don't know. Like, I have a real tough time figuring that out. I really don't know because I really like exploring new worlds, and I like when I don't know what they are ahead of time. Which is why I like games like Minecraft to a certain extent, because every time I go in there, and if it's someone else's world, if I'm watching like a Let's Play or what have you, I'm getting to experience their world, the world that they wanted, as opposed to one that I wanted. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Kind of seeing like what they prioritize, like going into anybody's Minecraft world and seeing things that are not of uniform width. Or looking into their chests to find out that they're not separating their materials.
Right, exactly, and it's just so you can like cry and scratch your eyes out. And,
yeah, a little bit. And obviously not touching it because that'd be a dick move to do. But yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to organize their work.
Yeah, don't go into other people's Minecraft worlds and organize them.
I know.
Like that's a cry for help if I've never heard one in my life.
like I said, it's not something I would do.
Yeah, don't do it.
Wait, hold on. Has that happened to you, Cole?
No, it hasn't.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between the thing my mind tells me to do and me saying no, that isn't the thing to do right now.
Yeah,
and
that's good.
Just like
higher form. That's what separates us from the animals.
Yeah,
is not organizing Minecraft boxes.
What separates us from
I have met some parakeets that's all they do. For like 75 years or however long they live.
Oh man, I love the idea of getting a parrot just so I can like foist it on my grandkids after I die. Oh man.
All right, do we want to announce the poll, even though Brayton's back?
Oh, I'm sorry. Should I have not been?
No, it's okay.
We're gonna have to ask you to leave.
Yeah, you can be repressed. It don't matter. We mentioned it in the episode. So our Big Summer RPG, the game we're doing after Gabriel Knight 2, rather than doing like we did last year with Kickstarter rewards and having people dictate them, we're opening up to votes. So we'll probably do this for more than just the Big Summer RPG. We'll probably do it when we have a couple of different likely choices for game, and let our patrons kind of decide what's going on. So we have a few choices for our Big Summer RPG. And we'll announce them, and then we'll put up a widget or what have you on the Patreon page. Did you get that email, Cole?
No. Let me refresh everything.
It's okay.
You just send it to my Duckfeed account.
Yeah. I sent it to whatever popped up in my Gmail because I was trying to do it on my phone without using up bandwidth for Agile.
Is there a possibility of doing Dark Souls as your Big Summer RPG?
They really would. Like that. Yeah. Like there's a reason we cordoned that off.
Yeah, that would be a real dick move.
I would love that so much. It would be hilarious.
We would never get through it. Well, then you get to Capra, and he's pretty hard, and then you move on.
And you should see episode 4 of Bonfireside
Chat. Or just annotations.
Yeah.
A commentary over the original tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be good because then you could go back to your original tracks, talk about all of the things that you got wrong, get them right.
That'll be when we're killing time before Beast Souls comes out.
Okay.
So, other than 3D Game.Heroes.
Yeah, I know there's a Project Beast question in there if you want to.
Yes, there is.
Oh yeah.
We should do Shadow Tower. Actually.
Yeah, I might do Shadow Tower too. If we end up having enough time, I would love to do 3D Game.Heroes because it's goofy and would be weird. But Shadow Tower is #1 on my list of of things.
For
to
sure.
actually do. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's give a rundown on
Yep.
on the options available for the summer RPG. I got the email. My answer is
Cool.
yes.
Cool. So we have 4 options.
So we have 4 options. Count them, 4. All of these are games we'd like to do eventually, but we're putting it to you to decide which one we're going to do over the month of August. So looking at this here, let's go chronologically, Gary,
Sure.
from the beginning.
I
So
don't have them in front of me, so I'm going to let you read it. I'll just respond.
Okay. Cool. I'm just doing them off the top of the dome. Yeah. So the number 1 is Dragon Warrior 4 for the NES.
We've never done an NES RPG, and we've never done something from Dragon Warrior, which is arguably the other kind of contender for big JRPG franchise.
Yeah. So that is one that it's kind of got the inklings of more modern RPG kind of trappings. It's one of the later NES ones. That's
the
right,
latest
right?
NES one.
It is the latest NES one.
Yeah, it's actually probably the latest NES RPG. I could be wrong about that, but I think it is probably the most sophisticated NES RPG. I think it came out after Final Fantasy III. I might be wrong about that, but I think that is the case.
Cool.
Yeah.
So the number 2 of our options here, we have Paper Mario for the N64. Which I'd be excited about to do a small number. Yeah, to do a small number RPG. It's been a little while since we've done Super Mario RPG, and Paper Mario is fucking great. So.
Yeah, it's wonderful, and I say that as a fair weather fan of Mario RPG. I love Paper Mario, so I would love to revisit that game, having done Mario RPG, and kind of feel understand why I like one more than the other than the fact that one of them looks good and one of them looks bad.
Right.
Which is the case with Mario RPG.
Yeah. So the third option, again, continuing down the timeline, we have Suikoden 2, which is a PSX, PlayStation 1 strategy RPG-esque kind of thing. And that one, we're holding out hope that it comes out on the Virtual Console, sorry, PSN store in the meantime here. But yeah, that is a really popular one that I have no experience with. Gary, can you speak to that?
Yeah, I played it when it came out. I played both Suikoden games. They're really good. Like they're like half JRPG, half having these huge kind of tactical battles. They have stories that function on a really interesting scale. Like they do a national scale without getting cosmic in a really cool way, and lots of very memorable characters. And it's just kind of weird. It's like a Konami. RPG series. Like it feels a little bit different than everything else, like Breath of Fire and obviously the SquareSoft games. So
yeah,
they're very good. Yeah, Suikoden 2 is wonderful. It's a good
the
game.
only thing I remember about the game, isn't it referenced when you play Metal Gear Solid against Psycho Mantis? If you have
sure
it on
is.
the memory card.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I remember about that game.
Yeah.
I love the art style. It's anime without being overtly detailed. It's pretty cute actually from what I've seen. So
yeah.
And I like the cute visual style that is. Yeah,
it's also the one thing that's in common with all these is they're manageable. Like we originally talked about doing Dragon Quest VIII, and that's a good game, but it's also 80 hours.
Yeah.
So that's too much.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VII took a chunk out of me last year.
And we'll do a 32-bit Final Fantasy again, I'm sure. Yeah. But we have to really. That was a 3-episode like unprecedented thing, and
it was. Quite frankly, a slog.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. So, and Dragon Quest VIII would be that or more because it is even longer. So,
and it's tough because it's not as beloved as.
Yeah. It's a very good game. I love Dragon Quest VIII, but yeah, what is our fourth and final option?
Fourth and final is Persona 3, which is a PS2 RPG. Again, beloved. It's one of the Shin Megami Tensei games, and it's the more modern sensibility. I'd be interested in doing that just because I've never done. I think I've played the first hour of Persona 4, and I enjoyed it, but it was very much visual novel-esque. So Persona 3 would be kind of cool to do.
Yeah, and 4 and 3 are not that dissimilar, actually. They have different settings, but they're not too dissimilar of a game. But Persona 3 is a great game. I love that game and would love to revisit it. I never beat it. I got fairly far into it, and it does a thing that JRPGs don't do, where it is hard. And it is a very, very challenging JRPG, but also very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the option. You guys can stew on that for a little bit. I'll put up if not some kind of poll widget then at the very least a post on the Patreon site that you can vote in the comments on, and we'll tally that up, and we'll have an announcement ready probably by we'll close it before we record the next Watch Out for Fireballs, so we'll have the announcement then. Yeah.
Yeah. Next question. I'll go ahead and read this. Who is this? Oh, Joe Pulcini.
Yes.
He says, first part of this question, Princess Tomato, most awesome game or most amazing game concept ever? Possible movie? That's funny. Who plays who? 2, and kind of related, is there a particular game that you love despite its mediocrity?
Can I name a genre?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember playing Princess Tomato when I was very young, and obviously I think was it an NES or Super NES game?
It's an NES game.
Okay, so I rented it just out of a whim from like Dollar Video in Wakanda, and like I only ever made it to the first town, and I remember specifically like there being kind of a grumpy tomato / beet butcher type person who you could hit, and then they would like say, "Oh, that feels good."
Yep.
And like that's literally the only thing I remember. I remember also like a few years ago reading what the story was on Wikipedia because I had no freaking idea. But I never watched a Let's Play. I never went back and played it, but I am very intrigued by it.
Yeah, no, this is my first exposure to it. I mean, if it has BDSM produce, that's great, but I mean, it kind of looks like Shadowrun for kids.
Yeah.
It's more like Shadowgate for kids.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Sorry, it's.
I figured that's what you meant. It's a great game. Like, I love Princess Tomato. I played when I was playing Uninvited, Deja Vu, and Shadowgate as a kid. I played this game. Mm-hmm. I love Princess Tomato. It is goofy. It is more inscrutable. There's this whole the enemy are these things called the Farmies, who are people that are only shown in silhouette that harvest you. And there's a very chilling scene I remember as a kid where you come across these vegetables that are dying on the vine because they don't have any water, because the farmers are punishing them. Because we're going to eat you, but if you're going to be mouthy about it, we're going to stop giving you water, and you're trapped on this vine. Like, it's really fucking creepy.
Wow.
You have to get water for them and everything, but that's a great game. I love Princess Tomato.
Is that like the background of the actual Cabbage Patch Kids, which are that they were grown in a Cabbage Patch to become slaves, and like your option is to adopt them so that you can save them from a life of slavery?
You know that Coleco was originally a leather company, right? Like, they were not grown to be slaves. They're grown to be a very special kind
harvested
of leather.
Into like.
Do you like my briefcase?
Innovation!
I'm just looking here at the possible verbs. I like that there's a praise verb for flattery, and also fight, which lets you initiate finger wars.
Yeah.
You know what those are, Cole.
Yeah.
It's similar to what I refer to as finger blasting.
Oh yeah, bang bang. Yeah.
It actually means rock paper scissors.
Okay.
And then a particular game that you love despite its mediocrity. Say your genre, Cole.
Well, survival horror. I recognize that the Shangri-La Valley of survival horror is the 7.0. You know, like if I'm just gonna pull one off the top of my head, I fucking love Haunting Ground.
Haunting Ground's great.
Yeah, that's I think that kind of extends beyond like mediocrity, but like most people are turned off by, its genre.
It's
trappings.
everything.
Yeah, by its everything. But I think that it is an inspired work of genius, despite its mediocrity. So I can separate those two things. So I would say that would be my answer for this.
What do you say, Brayton?
I would say, depending on how you feel, any of the Lego games are like some of my favorites. I put 25 hours into Lego Marvel Superheroes because I can't get enough of playing as MODOK.
Can't get enough, yo MODOK.
That's right. You are a machine organism designed for, in this case,
only for killing. Yeah. Conquest with a K.
Yeah, with a K. And how can I not love you? I love your giant head and your tiny little arms. It reminds me of a tiny baby mechanical version of myself.
I'll take a page from Cole and do a genre and say a lot, not all, but I like a lot of objectively bad JRPGs. That I think are actually really bad games. Like we talked about how hard it is to get into the grind as an adult, and it's just there's some of those mechanics that are just atrocious. Just so hard to sit through and so boring and angry making, and like even games I really love, like even Final Fantasy VII, which I really like, and we played it and it even held up for me. There are parts of it that I was just like, this is like a genre thing. Like we talk about not picking on your racist grandpa when we play JRPGs, like it's just what the genre is. But that is frustrating, like it's really irritating to me. But I still like them. Like I still really, really like them even with that fatal flaw.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are games obviously that do it better. Like there are tons of more modern steps and games that have more strategic combat and keep you more engaged and everything. But that kind of Final Fantasy VII and before flavor of just tap A to win JRPG, sometimes I really like to zone out to one of those, even though I think that they are rough. So.
Yeah, and like when you said like bad JRPGs, I didn't know that you were just saying like any JRPG, and I thought you were going to evangelize for Beyond the Beyond.
Oh no, not that. I don't just mean any JRPG. Like I think, oh boy, I'm not saying this to make an enemy of you, and I like the game, but I kind of think Wild Arms is that mechanically. Like it has a really interesting setting and a couple of really interesting puzzles and stuff. Mm-hmm. But man, the battles in that game slog. Like I replayed it when it got released on PSN. And it's good. Like I like that game. I'm saying a game I have affection for, but I think that it's kind of unforgivable in some ways.
Yeah, I would probably lump Breath of Fire 3 in with that too.
Yeah,
I fucking love that game. For its soundtrack alone, I think that it carries most of the weight of it, and the story is really great too. But the actual play, there was a reason that I Game Sharked it when I first played it back when I was had teen patience, so that speaks volumes, I think.
I played the shit out of like Paladin's Quest, which is a bad game. Like it's just like those things I have a lot of nostalgia for, even though they're not very good. Mm-hmm. Secret of Evermore.
Secret of Evermore.
Oh yeah. Well, while we're talking about it, maybe my favorite game of all time, which is notably mediocre, is Def Jam Fight for New York.
Where Henry Rollins is your instructor?
Yeah, goddamn right he is. Who else would you want to run a gym for you? Henry Rollins or literally anyone else? I met Henry Rollins once, and he is seriously the most frighteningly intense human being I've ever been in the presence of. Like, he is... On stage, he's like 95 feet tall, but like in person, he is maybe like 5'8". God. So he's small compared to me, who's 6 feet tall and well over 200 pounds. And so like, but we're outside of this venue in DeKalb, and he's talking to people, and he turns to me and he hits me with these cold, dead eyes that like just burned into my soul, and I was seriously like fucking freaked out for 15 seconds before I was like, thank you for show. Like,
it's like I went through a good period where I liked his spoken word stuff. They're like, I think that Henry Rollins speaks to the teenage boy, and in a lot of us. However, I fully recognize that he ruined Black Flag. So,
well, Black Flag is its own thing.
Yeah.
And like current Black Flag is a weird thing.
Yeah.
I read that Henry Rollins book that he wrote about being in Black Flag.
Yeah,
it's very weird. I read that like on Mark Nichols' couch in like 2002.
I think I have a couple of his books back on the bookshelf.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holdouts from high school when I actually bought physical books.
Mm-hmm. No. All right.
Let's move on to the next one here. So Evan Jones Thorne writes, Brayton's beard plans for 2014.
Do you guys want to take this one, or you want me to take it?
What I will say is, have you considered doing some kind of Hot Wheels track?
I wish I could. That would be amazing. I would love to do that. No, Evan is aware that much like, I don't know, whatever it is, I don't like to look the same for very long, and especially after my picture's been taken, I immediately have this like wrenching gut feeling to remove my beard or grow a beard or look different in case I'm arrested or something like comes up that I commit a crime and I need like some distance between that. I don't know what it is, but like once I have a beard and someone sees me with a beard in a digital format or physical permanent format, I want to get rid of it. So I don't have like big plans, but I think I would like to go back to having like Civil War mutton chops. Would be really great. I would love to do that again.
Respectable.
Yeah.
I appreciate an intentional beard.
Like as opposed to an accidental.
Yeah, what are you saying? Is that you subtweeting me, Cole?
No. Like, that is a conscious choice that you make. I'm subtweeting myself in that any facial hair that I have is just the product of indolence.
Okay.
I just wake up 2 months later and I just have it. So, yeah.
I mean, this is a beard-heavy episode. I see episodes in the future will not be as beard-heavy.
Yeah. Get on it, level guys.
Yeah.
Rest time's
Money
over,
Smith.
Furia. Grow a beard. Quit milking it.
What does that mean?
I'm being mean. But he's fine. If he wasn't fine, I wouldn't have said that.
Okay, Gary, I know we've talked about the Pitch T-shirt being backpackula, but like, quit milking it might be the best slogan.
Cream jam in USA.
Yeah. Cream Fest
like
2014, quit milking it.
Yeah.
The Cream Jammers ball?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I told this story before, but you're talking about surfing on it. I was in a band called the Midnight Snacks, and we used to rent this practice space, which Braden's very familiar with. And we once found outside of it a Polaroid picture of a man ejaculating. Like it was a close-up, like framed, like pretty much like you couldn't see anything other than like his man fupa, and then like his hand and his dick and ejaculate. And I really wanted to use it as an album cover and Photoshop ourselves surfing on it and call the album Hang 10 with the Midnight Snacks. I thought it'd be like the best thing ever. And no one in the band wanted to do it. I'm like, guys, like it's not like we're going to have careers. Let's do this one hilarious thing and then burn out in a blaze of glory.
Yeah, it's weird. I didn't know that Roger Mapplethorpe like attended shows at like
this man was no Mapplethorpe model. This was like this could be me from the future sending back an artifact. Like it had a Gary physique. Like in the future, that's the only way I can come is like by sending back Polaroids of myself coming to my younger self.
He was a Mapplethorpe model.
Oh God, I hope that's so true.
All right, let's all make a pact, guys. If time travel becomes possible, let's all take a picture of ourselves ejaculating and bring it to the practice space.
Okay, but only
like 2006.
I don't want to. Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Okay. 10 o'clock doesn't work for me. Just 10:30. Is that fine for you?
Yeah. I got a thing.
Let's see here. Will Owens asks, do you put on a persona for your podcast, or would you say it is just you being you? Specifically for non-bit podcasts like WAF or Abject Suffering.
What are our bit podcasts? Or I guess maybe like means like the pitch.
Yeah, the pitch.
Yeah. And those damn Ross kids to an extent.
To a little bit. There's a lot of feigned ignorance there. It's really hard to talk for that long and keep it up. Eventually, you just kind of fall back into whatever you are. There's like a heightened sense of it, like there's stuff that's like played up or whatever. But yeah, I would say this is pretty close to the real me. Yeah. As like weird as that sounds to say out loud, and I hate myself forever now.
Yeah.
The only it is I feel like I'm very much myself in shows, sometimes show fault, and then the only thing that I do differently is when Cole talks about playing stuff up, like I will tease Cole about things that actually don't bother me because for comedic effect, or I will exaggerate a reaction I would have that has been a previously established like Gary trope,
Yeah.
I will make fun of myself more for because there's a history. So like you're always keeping in mind that you're doing performance of subtype.
Yeah.
But it's pretty close to like I've never been anything less than honest, and I'm also I don't hold anything back. Like I just talked about naming that album "Hang Time with the Midnight Snacks" about us surfing out of a stranger's ejaculate, and I no shame there. So
It's not a stranger,
Yeah.
it's you. It's fine.
yeah. No, guys,
That's
it's
what
not
makes it
gross, it's me.
okay.
What if the reason why they didn't want to do it is because they thought I had brought a picture of myself and pretended to find it? Is that
I mean, it's possible.
yeah, and they just didn't want to say it. Like they had a band meeting without me.
Yeah.
Speaking a little bit more into this before I have an aneurysm and die. It's more like I do this because it's fun to talk and make people laugh, and so like it's more one informs the other than just kind of like playing it up, So that is kind of the extension. Like if it seems like it's performance, it's because I totally am. I like to, that is how I survive in this world.
Right.
so yeah.
No, I'm right with you. I'm addled with all sorts of anxieties, perhaps not as far as you are, Cole, but like every time I get on microphone or I'm on camera or on stage, I'm not being me. It's the same way as anytime I'm associating with human beings that I'm not like really close with. I'm basically playing a part of a guy who is way more confident than I am. The real Brayton Cameron would not have been on the show. He would have been asleep, like hiding under the covers, like, thinking about like why no one likes him.
Yeah, the real Cole would have been like drunk and watching The Simpsons. So
the real Cole and the real Brayden should totally hang out.
I know, right?
Well, they're too shy to hang out.
Be the worst roommates.
Well, no, but also the best because we'd never steal each other's food because we'd be too afraid of confrontation. And all we would do is pay each other, like pay the bills on time, and occasionally tip our hats.
as we pass into our respective dungeons.
That's it. I changed my mind, Gary. I'm not moving to Portland. I'm moving to Cincinnati with Cole.
Yes.
Cole doesn't want to roommate.
That's what's so great about it.
Yeah. That is an act of violence you're threatening.
We're just going to go there. We're going to go to Skyline Chili. We're going to go to Dewey's. It'll be great.
Yep, you hit all the landmarks. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's over Cincinnati.
I was in Cincinnati for one day, and that's the only thing I remember, except for being yelled at while we were unloading the van for the band that I was touring with. And this woman from across the street was yelling at us, "We're gonna shut you down!" And I was like, "Well, we literally have no control over this, so go ahead, I guess. Like then we get paid for nothing."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Will.
Thank you, Will. The next one here. This is Sean Petra. I butcher last names. I'm so sorry. What do you think of all the video game marathons for charity? Typically the ones that raise money for Child's Play. I can think of High Charity and Desert Bus. Don't worry, I'll totally judge you on this. What's
why do you know we're against them?
Yeah.
There's whatever the
AGDQ?
the Minecraft one that I'm thinking of specifically, like to the end lands or whatever it is, like far lands or bust. That's what it is, and that's a guy who's walking all the way during a certain level of or a certain update of Minecraft to try to get to the part where the game breaks if you just walk too far from the center point.
Holy shit!
Which it's like the way he's calculated it, it's going to take him 8 years to do it. And people have done it by cheating, obviously, but like he's going to walk there and he sleeps every night and he tells these stories. It's Kurt J. Mack does it, and he's really fantastic, and they're really cool videos. Mm-hmm. And all of the money for doing Far Lands or Bust goes to charity, and it's actually really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in favor. Judge us based on that. Is that what you meant? Like, I judge you based on this because I hate him.
I watched a speed run of somebody doing Super Punch Out, and they were blindfolded. Yeah, mm-hmm. They were blindfolded for the first 4 fights, which is
more than 4. He got really far into Super Punch Out.
Oh, really? Like I didn't watch that video. But...
Yeah, he like gets all the way up to Tyson, I think, in regular Punch Out, and then Super Punch Out he gets like very nearly R2. The guy's incredible.
Yeah.
MTGQ is great. Last year, me and Nick did a party for the kickoff night, and this summer, since I'm going to be a student, I'm going to have some extra time, and I'm thinking about going over there and like spending the night and staying up and watching that shit. Like I love that. The desert bus is hilarious as well. That's one of the funniest ideas I think that's ever been had. I think that's really funny, and I would love to if we had the kind of clout to try to find some way to do a brief charity thing. Like if even though we only raised a couple $100, like it would be cool to do like a weekend stream sometime. You know, I would love to do that.
Yeah.
We should talk about that sometime, like when we have a little bit more time.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean it's great. I mean, anything that takes kind of the innate community that surrounds all these video game stuff. I'm philosophically opposed to the notion of fandom. However, just like, hey, we all share this hobby and we're interested in being good inhabitants of planet Earth, so let's kind of marry these two things and spread some goodwill. It's a nice bastion of positivity in what I perceive to be just a sea of negative horseshit. So yeah, it's pretty good. I feel like it adds a little bit of magic to the world.
Yeah.
And say what you will about the Penny Arcade guys, like in my opinion, Child's Play is pretty cool.
I will.
It's a pretty cool charity. Like giving games to kids in hospitals and like women's shelters and stuff is really, really cool.
It makes a huge difference.
You did that documentary.
Yeah, I did about the Wii, like just seeing the kids, like this was like back in the Rock Band heyday, but just like playing Rock Band with cancer kids was really, really fun, and like just it's makes them smile.
Did you insist on singing though, Cole?
No. They were intimidated by drums, so I took that. Whenever we were off camera, it was a matter of like gaining their trust. So it was a lot of like goofing around with them, so they would be comfortable on camera. So
good.
Yeah. And then Child's Play is great. Like I mean, they are still assholes, but Child's Play is great. Agreed. Yeah, we'll do that sometime. Sometime like I say, like this calendar year, we should do like a weekend stream thing, and collect some kind of money.
I'm in 100%.
Cool. Yeah, man.
I don't give a shit if you don't want me there or not. I'm there.
Yeah. No matter what.
I am going to overstay my welcome in every Duckfeed thing possible.
We'll call it Babel of the Network Stars. And it'll be people, doing like marathon podcasts and streams and stuff.
Right, like seriously, like I mean, I got nothing going on. I'll just read from the Joey Camo book, Overqualified.
Yeah.
And then
you realize that people like have to like it and watch it and stuff. It's not just like can you kill time.
No, Gary, no.
It's not a dance. It's not what are those things called? It's not like a dance marathon. Yeah, it's not that.
No, I'm just gonna. I want to put my hand on a car until I win.
Yeah, it's not. Braden, these aren't what you think they are.
I don't understand charity.
Yeah, it is literally. It's not just like pushing you out on stage and saying, "Can you do anything for 2 hours?" It's not a challenge, buddy.
I thought it was just drink as much water as possible, and then I get a Wii.
And try to die.
And then you die.
Dying from not getting a Wii. The 1,000th most common cause of death in Texas during that weekend. Cool. And so Sean Petrie continues to ask, or says another question, are any of the other Duckfeed personalities going to be showing up on upcoming shows?
Yeah. I don't know who we're going to arrange for next time, but
I know Nick would be down at some point. Like I'm not trying to put him forward as anything, but I know Nick would do it.
Yeah, Dennis would be down too.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I would love any of those people, and Braden will probably come back.
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah, Braden will come back at some point. If you move here, you won't. If you're not even on the stream, you can just invite yourself over. On the times we're doing it, and then just once we have the camera working, you just stick your head in the background.
Yeah, it'll be happen. I'll just be like, Gary, I brought all these pretzels filled with peanut butter, and then you'll have to invite me in.
Yeah, like a vampire, like specific vampire.
Just being off camera, hucking jawbreakers at him.
Yeah. Don't eat these, you'll die. Don't.
Yeah. Like just kill me and just take my place. Slowly rise up from the chair.
I will pull your beard up over mine with your head hanging from it.
I thought Bioshock Infinite was overrated.
I love ActRaiser. That's what I would say is Gary. That's my destination.
I do love ActRaiser. I think some of these are not questions anymore. I think these are coming from the actual thread.
Some of these. Um, let's see here. So let's move on to one here. Yeah, this is another one from Evan. Rejected pitches.
We didn't reject anything if it wasn't apparent.
Yeah.
Like we have a Twitter that's like 400 tweets of just like whatever we happen to come up with.
Yeah, I think like the closest to a rejected one is, and we talked about this during the like final show, like the wrap-up show, is the Batteresis, which was one of mine that I made up that just didn't work. And
Yeah,
we
it
put it in
didn't.
the show anyway, because fuck it.
Yeah, because fuck it. And we talked about a couple of things since then that eventually might become backer rewards. Like Braden and I were workshopping an idea today where I want to have for business functions, for networking things, where businessmen get gloves, and if you high five someone else with the glove, your LinkedIn profiles get linked in, and it faxes a business card to the other person's wallet. And that way, these networking functions are just like lines of high fives, like yeah, like the end of a Super Bowl or something, or the end of Michael Jackson Chaos in the Windy City, and you're just constantly linking in
Michael
people.
Jackson?
or Michael Jordan. I just said that 1,000 times during the actual episode.
I thought you were just playing into it.
No, yeah, I just get those people mixed up because I'm racist.
Well, it's MJ. It makes sense,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, their names just sound similar. It's not because I'm racist.
Yeah, what did we come up with? The Wi-Fi high five networking
Yeah, the Wi-Fi
system?
the LinkedIn system brought to you by Pepsi.
Yeah.
You know that's like startlingly close to being a thing, right? Like you can do the handshake with the smartphones. Like if you do a fist bump with your phones, it'll like exchange your LinkedIn information.
Every dumb
that's like
thing that we think of on the pitch is startlingly close to being a thing. The pitch is the scariest show on Duckfeed.tv.
It's a horror show.
It is a horror show.
Especially
the
speed
same
marriage.
thought process that real people are doing.
Yeah.
To come up with the shit. So.
But I honestly really hope that speech marriage is never a thing, because that is terrifying.
Well, especially the moon base.
The moon base scenario where we crash the moon into the.
Yeah, that one really got in a mood that day.
That was you two crossing over into supervillainy, if I'm not incorrect.
Yeah.
Well, it was an accident. Like,
yeah.
we were accidentally raising an entire army full of people who were subservient to us. But hey, it's not our fault. Like, it just happened.
Well, we've been absolved because of the Gene Teeman Gene.
Yeah, that's right. Because the Teen Genemans or whatever they were called.
Teen Screen Genes. Yeah, it's all.
They're made out of soap, which was like an Ernest Goes to Prison.
Yeah.
Man, I miss that show sometimes.
I miss it all the time. Like every day, like not every day, but like at least twice a week during chat, I'm like, this idea. What if only we had a podcast where we could do this? But we'll get it out through the backer rewards.
No, I feel good about it. For those of you that followed the pitch story and don't know this much about me, I also do this like kind of news segment on another show called Booked, which is a podcast about books. Duh. And it was called Booked News, and it was I was playing this character Skip Papersley, who was this kind of like 1920s newsman who was always like, these are the best books. Tune in now. Fritz has got us on the run. Anyway, he was getting married to Gillian Flynn, who wrote Gone Girl, and it was this long joke because she was like #1 in the like New York Times bestsellers book list for months, and eventually she left him for Booked News intern Gene Tiemann. Yes. And now I started doing this new show called Word's Eye View with with Malik Tumbali, and which is kind of like me making fun of NPR, and specifically the thing about NPR, which is the ethnic name with the white voice.
Oh yeah.
And so Malik Tumbali is involved, and eventually the plan for that, which the guys in Book don't know, is that I'm going to do a fundraising episode. Normally my things in the Booked episodes are like 2 minutes, but the fundraising is going to be about 15 minutes of just me talking to myself about how much I should give myself money. And then the next episode following that is where Word's Eye View intern Gene Tiemann steals all of our money, and we have to shut the show down. Because Gene Tiemann. So he's kind of this crossover giant now.
He's like a dimensional interloper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow. What was my name on osteoneurosis? Boxer Quan?
Boxer Quan. Yeah. Everyone should go back and listen to that. A good half hour of radio.
Jerry,
Just throwing that
what
there.
was your name on that show?
I don't remember. Like Lamborghini Jetstream or something. I might have stolen that one. It might have been that. I can't remember. It wasn't Johnny Cum. Johnny Cum comes later. But, yeah. Johnny Cum, the host of Buget or Fingit. Or Jam It or Fingit.
Jam It or Fingit.
Did I told you that?
That's so sad.
Yeah, finger. Elizabeth is a funny lady. I didn't tell you this. I don't think because I probably won't do it because I'm going to start a different solo show during the summer, but not solo, but like a personal show. But I originally thought it'd be funny to bring pilot season back as a second season and treat it like it actually was a pilot season, and the winner was Jam It or Fing It, and do 2 full episodes of Jam It or Fing It before like breaking off into more random or more different things. But just kind of just like, yep, this one. Deliberations are
Jam
over.
It or Fing It was. I mean, I listened to every episode, and that's my favorite.
Jam It or Fing It is I like Jam It or Fing It a lot too,
Yeah.
but I don't think it sustains 3 episodes.
No,
90
God, no,
minutes of
it's a
Jam It or
one-joke
Fing It.
premise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But making that you can get another joke out of the one joke premise by supposing that it's a 3-joke premise.
Yeah. Which I like the idea of you having to come back and do the show the next day, missing a finger and hoping that someone goes back to jamming it instead of finging it.
Jam the thing.
Oh man. So Dennis asks, Dennis of the level, predictions for Project Beast.
I don't have any because there's not enough information. Like I'll play the shit out of it. It's gonna make me buy a PS4, which I hate. And but I'm really happy because Bonfire Shed Chat is fun to do.
Yep.
And we you guys can guess about this. We were in the probably like stage 1 planning stages for what to do if we had to stop doing Bonfire Side Chat.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting. I'd still love to do it someday, but we're not going to talk about it because we probably will when we run out of Souls games. But this kindled that bonfire nicely.
Yeah.
And,
So yeah, we're all that I'm hoping is we find out more next week at E3. That's probably the only reason I'll really be following the coverage closely.
Mm-hmm.
And that it is coming out sometime before 2016.
Yeah.
If they can slam jam in early 2015, that would be really good for us.
Yeah, that would work out perfectly for us. But if it comes out anytime in 2015, we can figure out some interstitial seasons like we did before.
Yeah.
And, I'm super fucking excited because I will just literally play those games as long as I live. Anytime they come out, like even when they're mediocre, like I just enjoy, that gameplay too much.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's something about the Souls world that it's just fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not fun. Let's face it.
Miserable.
It's not.
It's super
not
fun. Like I have tons of fun playing those games. Like it is
No,
just
the games are fun,
yeah.
but the world is not fun.
Yeah.
No, the world is dark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or demon.
Yes.
Or
yeah. Or beast. Or 2.
World.
Yeah, but I'm really interested if it's anything like the transition from Dark Souls to Dark Souls 2, Demon Souls 2, like going back on that lore is fantastic.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the only thing that's keeping. Like, I mean, Dark Souls 2 is cool, but like that's the big selling point for me is like, hey, check out all this other stuff that all ties together.
And I'm also going to be curious if we're really kindling the bonfire, whether I can do the, not watch the gameplay footage and stuff like I did for Dark Souls 2, because that really did enrich my experience. But as a, semi-journalist in the Dark Souls community, like it is, I feel like I have a weird responsibility to talk about it.
Yeah.
So that's hard. But I really did like going into Dark Souls 2 not having played any of the levels or anything, and that was really valuable. So I probably will put myself, up on that pedestal again. So predictions being that it will be good and I'll play it.
Yep, pretty much. And
it will be the only thing I play on my PS4.
Yeah. You're not going to get Infamous 3?
Nope.
Second Son looks pretty good. Like I'm gonna
like
say.
It might be fine. I'm too far gone to get invested in those series. But my PS3 is literally like a Netflix and Demon Souls machine.
Journey. Play Journey.
I really want to play Journey.
I really like that. I don't have a PS3 and I really want to just for Journey. And Unfinished Swan.
Yeah, well, and Demon Souls, man.
Yeah,
you gotta play Demon Souls. I want to play Journey. Like, of course, like any system has a couple of good games on it. It's just not like the media center of my living room that I think they want it to be.
Yeah.
I literally have only a couple. I mean, I played Shadow of the Colossus on it. That's a great remake and stuff. Like there are some things I played on it, but it's not it's not my central thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Brad.
Brad. So they've been mentioned occasionally, but they also fall into a category that we'll probably never do for WAF. Puzzle games? Any favorites or specific hated games? Thoughts in general? I love puzzle games. I mean, I'm probably not like hardcore, like beat every level and move the box on iOS. I think that iOS is where those are kind of thriving right now.
Yeah.
But I will tear up some Puzzle League. Like that is a good time no matter what.
I mean, would you call the Myst games puzzle games?
They're traditionally adventure games, but they are role puzzle based.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they are a little bit towards the adventure spectrum from something like The Seventh Guest,
Yeah.
which I would call a straight up puzzle game.
Mhm.
I know, Gary, I've told you about this, but I don't think I've told Cole about it. But like my idea of like the world of Myst actually was really terrifying for me playing through the games because nothing was happening when it should have been, and like so I wanted to make a Myst style game, but have a real scary demon like on the cover of it, but never show up in the game. And then make a sequel where it's the scary demon face on the cover again. It's just like I'm back, but never show up.
It's built up the sense of foreboding, right? It's like that
There
cover
was-
of The Stand that features the crazy sickle battle in the middle of the
Yes!
desert. Yeah.
Yeah, that was way back in the day. My first PC, I got one of those like disc like pamphlets of like 10 CDs of software, whatever it was. And some of the games were like Hellcab, which is insane if you've never played it. But there was another game it was like a Doom clone. And I remember going through the first like room and there was nothing, and the second room there was nothing, and then the third room and there was nothing. And I started to like just build this tension of like, why is there nothing in this spaceship that I'm exploring? And then I got to like the 8th room and I was like, fuck it, I can't. Like I couldn't go through any doors, and I uninstalled the game because I was terrified.
Yeah, I mean, not to get like TV tropes or anything, but nothing is scarier. Like
Yeah.
a big room full of nothing, you fill in the void, right?
I like puzzle games. We've talked about doing them as split EPs.
Yeah.
And I would love to do New Tetris is my favorite traditional puzzle game. I also like in puzzle games in general. I like them. I think the puzzle platformer is like it's this weird like there's that Onion story where it's like Wes Anderson walks on stage and sets himself on fire and says like what have I wrought?
Yep.
I kind of feel like Jonathan Blow should do that. Just like I like a puzzle platformer, but Jesus Christ, indie games get over it, a little bit. Like I'm pretty sick of it.
Yeah.
But I enjoy puzzle games quite a bit, and New Tetris is fucking shit, and I would love a handheld version of that.
Yeah.
So.
Puzzle games and I have never been really tight. I like a few puzzle games now and again, but like I specifically remember like coming home from my friend's house on my birthday and my parents giving me Yoshi's Cookie for my birthday and being like, I don't even fucking like puzzle games. Like, so
I don't even fucking like puzzle games.
I didn't say it. I like played it for like an hour just to like appease them, and then never touched it again. And I think they played it way more than I did, so it was like a real kind of shitty gift.
when I was little, like Tetris was the game that I got with my Game Boy that I quickly ignored in favor of Battletoads. But whenever I went over to my dad's, that would be the game that he would play. He would ask me to bring the Game Boy so he could play Tetris. Like it was like Tetris and games like it were always the parent games. And I could totally see where that comes from. Yeah.
Tetris is good.
Most certainly.
Yep. Then Matthew Matosis guy on YouTube has a good video, like a 7-minute examination of why Tetris is the perfect game. Like not the best game and not his favorite, but why it is a perfect game, and it's an irrefutable argument. And it's really worth watching. So.
Have you ever watched that documentary, The Ecstasy of Order? Because I haven't, and I'm wondering if if that gets any kind of recommendation.
They show it at PGRE or PRGE. Several times, and they have it for sale, but I haven't watched it yet. So I would like to.
Yeah.
The title is perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, Michael Cook. What does Michael Cook have to say?
Michael Cook asks, what is the hardest part of podcasting that people don't really consider? I feel like podcasting is one of those things people are all like, man, any idiot could talk into a microphone for an hour, but in practice, it's really tough.
Editing.
Editing, and then just time in general.
Yeah, time.
Yeah,
Like,
it just takes a lot of time.
yeah, like finding the time. The worst thing for this network would be if I ever got a girlfriend.
Ladies, Lisa, don't.
Wait! This is a good reason why I should move in. You will never have one for very long. Promises.
He's just like he's bigfooting across the living room naked, like whatever.
Yeah, it's just you would bring her in and you'd be like, Brayden, this is my girlfriend, and then you would just hear just be it, and then she'd run. You would hear the sound of
just get it
away.
Get it pinned down. Yeah. The time, definitely, finding the time to do it, especially for like, recording sessions, and then just kind of the hole that it blasts in the schedule. I always notice a dip in my performance at work the day after, and especially a late recording session. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, I think that's probably inarguably the biggest thing in general. And because we do these video game things, we have to play these games too. So we talked about it before, and it may not seem like a big deal to play 15 hours, like it's just a video game, but like add on to your work week and recording and everything else, we do like 15 hours of a video game. Like it's not insignificant. So
the saddest thing, and this is going to sound like, oh, woe is me, like my recreational game playing is like just basically gone down the shitter. Just listen to any episode of The Level and you'll hear just the saddest. What have you been playing?
Sad free of iOS games.
Yeah, sad free of iOS. It's like, what did I play in the 20 minutes before we recorded?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and for saying I do the Watch Out for Firewall games, I'm constantly replaying Dark Souls, and then with Checking Out Comrade and Abject Suffering, like I am in a similar boat. I don't have as demanding a job as Cole does, so I have a little bit different of a thing. But I do have a girlfriend, so that takes up a lot of time too. I'm not saying that as like something awful, my girlfriend way. Like that's not a thing for me, but it does take up tons of time. And editing does take up a lot of. That's why it takes a lot of time, and that is definitely a skill set that and it is hard, but I really enjoy it because it's really relaxing and zen.
Yeah, editing is great. We've gotten a lot better over the course of our career here, just with the notion of like markering and stuff.
Yeah.
That has made it, that streamlined that process a little bit.
Yeah, that makes edits now like 3 hours for everything as opposed to like 8.
Yeah.
Like it literally used to be on my turn to when I watch out for fireballs, I would clear like a Saturday.
Yeah.
And now it's like if I need to, I can do it on a weeknight.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. If there's anything that I'm close to getting my 10,000 hours, my what is that asshole
Malcolm Gladwell?
Yeah, it's going to be editing. So I feel pretty comfortable with that right now.
Hey Gary, you don't have to read Checkbook Magazine anymore, which is good. Like freed up some.
Checkbook Magazine, what?
That's the Pitch Money magazine. Checkbook.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, it is true. I no longer have to read that.
That was one of the nice things about the pitch, as far as like show construction went, is that it mostly happened while we were both at work that day.
Yeah, all the prep stuff.
Yeah,
that's a pro tip for you if you want to start a podcast. Do most of your stuff at work. Like I don't know what I would do if I couldn't do that, because I do research at work, and I do show notes at work, and I do a lot of stuff. Yeah. Like I just end up doing in between minutes at work. It'd be a lot harder if I couldn't do that. Yeah. So, yeah. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you. Thoughtful question. Let's see here. Sean has already asked something. Let's look down here. Jala, that kind of has a related kind of.
And we're not ignoring you, Sean. No need to apologize. We're just giving you shit, and we would consider doing a network-wide charity. We talked about that. So I'm just assuming that you heard us talk about it and asked the question before. We're not saying it to.
Yeah.
So.
For sure. Yeah, so Jala asks, thank you, Jala, podcasts require an immense amount of time to plan for, record, edit, and release. What filled this time for you both, for you three, before you got into podcasting? Nothing. School. Honestly, and even then, in school, I was doing podcasts, so my entire adult life, this has not been a void. It's just been a thing that I've done.
Cool is young.
Yeah.
Cole and I have been doing this for the same amount of time, but he's younger than I am, so I was like Cole's age when I started doing it.
Yeah, I was I had an active social life once. This is
Well, yeah,
before the crippling anxiety like set in, and now
yeah.
podcasting is my only window into the world.
Is that true? You don't do it like you like don't really keep up a podcast right now.
No, that's the thing
Like,
that's terrible about it is that when I'm
You
not
mean
keeping a
listening to them?
podcast, I listen to them and then I just like sit on the couch and cry.
Oh, gee.
So again, Cole, when I'm your roommate, you're just going to hear a lot of heavy sobs.
a lot of heavy sobs in Radiolab. This show used to be better.
Yeah, and then that's when I realized that, in a way, it was kind of beautiful. Frantically double clicks on anything can happen jazz.mp3.
Yeah.
Fucking Jad Applemrod.
I have no idea what I did before I had podcasts to listen to. Honestly,
Yeah.
That would be the bigger hole. Like if one went away, like I can't be alone with my thoughts, so I constantly have my little Bluetooth boombox kind of thing blaring. I'm sure my neighbors love it. But yeah. Good.
Oh no, and to answer your question, bands. Like I was in a
Yeah.
bunch of bands from the 2000 to 2006 or 2005 when I got into doing podcast stuff.
Yeah.
And that took up a lot of time, like toured and practiced and stuff.
Oh wait, I know what I do. I work out.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, cool. So Mr.
Oh
Hunt.
yeah. So I totally I lift. You guys heard of that? Like it's really awesome.
Yeah. Truly epic. I know when I did Clan Ambassador Comics, which was a zine. I did zines and bands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this our last question? Last minute question?
We have to like kind of two. The last minute question from Brett is barely a question, but Cole, who are you going to stab with those scissors? Due to geography, probably just me. I'll put Braden up here because he is menacing me with his knife. Pro tip: don't have your name on the murder weapon.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. The problem is like if I was a Gary, I could get away with it, but I'm a Braden, and like just doesn't work.
I'm serious. Like I joked about it on the most recent something we recorded, but I'm always fiddling, and sometimes you can hear it. I've got my bell here, and I'm always taking it apart and putting it back together. I can't sit still ever. In fact, yeah, I just can't. Otherwise, I'm like the bus from Speed.
Yeah, so himself is who he will stab. And our final question, ending on a weird note, from Paul Woodard. I'm not saying that to criticize you, Paul. Dota 2. Are you asking if we want to play Dota 2, or are you asking what we think of Dota 2?
I used to play Dota 2 kind of regularly, but I never liked playing. It's that thing about MMOs that I never like. I'm not confident enough that I feel like I can go onto the internet and be made fun of for fucking up every once in a while. So when I used to play Dota 2, I used to basically play with my friend Marty and my friend Matt, and like that was it. And then robots, and specifically I say robots, not bots like everyone else. But I also watch Dota 2 on like Twitch, like when I work from home once or twice a week, and like I just will play Twitch and Dota 2 sometimes it's good. There was this one guy I found who was, I don't know, relatively new to Dota 2, used to play League of Legends a lot, and he was talking about like Dota 2 and how he doesn't like it as much because the girls' boobs aren't big enough.
Oh God.
And I was like, oh, okay, I'm done watching you now.
That's awful.
Oh, gross.
But also true. I mean, they really aren't big enough.
Yeah.
I can't argue. Well, you can argue with that, and I will. They're fine. Yep. I don't. Again, like I don't like games that people on the internet are going to yell at you for playing the correct way. Like even something for like Left 4 Dead, which I love Left 4 Dead, but my playing that with strangers was really limited because you'll do something and you'll fuck up because you're human and you're playing a game and you fuck up, and someone just like, God, everyone knows you go hunter, spitter, jockey, charger, not jockey, charger, spitter, and it's like I don't want there to be a right, like I'm playing a game.
Yeah.
I'm playing a game. Like I'm not interested in that, and that's been my experience with MOBAs in general.
Yeah.
It's like anytime there's a codified, shared assumed knowledge from the player base, that you're just kind of expected to go in. Like I had a very similar experience like with Counter-Strike actually.
Yeah.
Like, and that kind of turned me off of like any kind of like playing multiplayer games with randos, and pub kind of places like, oh yeah, the shotgun, that's a newbie weapon. Why do you have that? It's overpowered. Blah 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 blah. It's like, oh, like humans are shitty, and I'd rather just play with friends.
Yeah.
And
who aren't humans.
Yes.
Yeah, robots.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Like internet strangers are the worst.
Yeah.
You know? And like when it comes to gaming in every way, from like commenting on boob size to, playing games. Like I will play something like Left 4 Dead. Like I play games mostly with my friend Derek, who I talked about before, and we will literally play like versus Left 4 Dead, where it's just each of us with a team of idiots, and like it makes for not perfect play because your idiots don't play well, but we don't have people calling us faggot. Like it is that's
you
great.
don't have a Dr. Bong or the fart chum.
Yeah, exactly. You have to avoid Dr. Bong, and if there's one thing you can take away from the stream is getting rid of and avoiding Dr. Bong and fart chum.
Avoiding Dr. Bong.
Yeah, like avoiding Dr. Bong.
Yeah.
Avoiding Dr. Bong.
That's my favorite level in Mega Man.
My favorite line from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Paging Mr.
Pager Dr. Bong.
So let me see here. If we are going to title these broadcasts, that is our winner.
Yay!
So we have it on there. Avoiding Dr. Bong.
Yeah. And we all succeeded in avoiding Dr. Bong during the recording by not chiefing up. So congratulations, boys.
Yeah. Well, I think that about. Are you just seriously congratulating me for not getting high?
Yeah, yep. I was congratulating Brayton for bringing out his funny microphone.
But it's actually a bong, so it's a microphone bong.
I haven't had an opportunity to say this on mic about something. You know what? This isn't quite a joke, but you know what the funniest deodorant is?
Go on.
Secret, because like it's just supposed to be like shh. And I'm miming putting on deodorant. Like it's just very funny. Like no one knows.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah. No one knows that your armpits naturally stink.
Don't tell anyone my secret.
Nobody's gonna tell. Only dreams now.
Powdery fresh.
Yeah.
Sleep.
On the subject of body odor, if you guys don't mind another story.
Okay.
It was once when I was in college and had not had a big night of drinking, and woke up and was like laying on the couch, my own couch, mind you, and watching television, and I had kind of like leaned my head to the right and noticed my own armpit smell to be exactly that of Miller High Life, and I was mortified and hadn't drank it since.
It was just passing straight through to your ducts.
Yeah, I leaned over and just was like, no, you know what? I just realized my BO and Miller High Life are the same.
And you didn't have like just winos like clinging to you like little fruit bats.
No, because I was in my apartment safe.
Okay.
I lived. Gary can attest to this. I think he went there at least once. But like, I lived in the apartment that was like the absolute furthest side of DeKalb. Like, if you went any further, you were in cornfields, and that was like my favorite place to live because it was like there was just the only thing that I ever heard was geese. Like that was it.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds nice.
That does sound nice.
Yeah.
So thanks everybody for joining us.
Yeah.
Whichever way you're doing it, whether you watched it with us live, or whether you are checking it out on YouTube later. And hopefully you feel like this is a good. I feel like this was fairly successful. This was fun to do.
Yeah, I like that you had the same stoic look on your face the entire.
Yeah, I'm getting good at ventriloquism. So I just throwing my voice. And I've got my computer in my bathroom. But yeah, I'll get that worked out for next month. I apologize for that for people who wanted to see me animate. That'll happen next month. Then join us again.
Yeah. Join us again. If you have any comments about the just kind of the experience of this, did we remind you about it too much? Did we not remind you about it enough? How was the question submitting experience? All of that is good to know as we kind of figure out what the best implementation of this. So feel free to write in with that, and we can kind of tweak things to better serve you because this is a product of the Patreon, and the Patreon is a product of you guys. So yeah.
And thanks again for that. And we'll see you in a month.
Yep.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, thank you,
Thanks,
Brandon.
Braden.
Yeah. I'm going
Bye,
to stop the
everybody.
broadcast, but we're going to stay on the call.
All right, good.